Futures continuing downside here this morning. Session lows currently, in fact, for the NASDAQ and the S&P as we kick off officially. It's to effect at midnight. And we'll see what the fallout is overall as far as individual sectors in the overall market. I mean, if you look at Europe, some of the automakers down big time right across the board, even coming out of the Asian session this morning, feeling that effect as well. So we'll see if there's follow through. Some of the foreign exchange rates moving around quite violently this morning on this. Canadian dollar affected, Mexico affected as well. So lots of different angles to take as far as where this is going to be felt the most. The overall market coming off what happened yesterday. I mean, a huge sell-off into the afternoon. We did bounce a little bit going into the close, but wasn't much to talk of. 0.88 right now here for the NASDAQ, as I mentioned, just coming off fresh lows there. Nothing too significant as far as the economic calendar is concerned. Fed's Williams coming up this afternoon. That's about it. Just keep in mind, later on this week, we'll get non-farm payrolls coming up on Friday morning. That's going to be the big one as far as a look at how the overall economy is doing. And now with this on top of it, it should be an exciting report.
Oh boy, Brendo. Tariff Tuesday, not a good day. Yeah, everything's red. Most things are red. Let's talk about what's going on right now. Tesla reported their China vehicle sales down aggressively year over year on the month, Brendo. Almost 50% less vehicles sold in the month of February than was the case in 24. So a bit of a tough look there. Bitcoin continuing to tank. Obviously, some concerns about some of the things that are going to be included in the strategic reserve. Some Bitcoin purists not happy that Cardano and some others, Ethereum, are going to be included there. Target reported decent report, but they're down. Likewise with Taiwan Semi, that $100 billion that they're going to spend being announced yesterday. And Nvidia, I got more details on the Singapore backdoor into China. That's being investigated further, Brendo.
I like that. The little tease. We'll leave them with that for now. Yeah, a little bit of retail earnings action. Best Buy, another one coming through. I mean, everything's down, so I don't know how much earnings are going to matter at this point this morning. Here's General Motors right now, 1.67. Session lows coming into play, just off a cliff yesterday afternoon for GM. Ford, same story, off a cliff late in the day yesterday. Down again this morning, better part of 1.2%. Tesla not as bad to start this morning. We've accelerated since then, since I looked last. Anyways, we were holding that last low from late in the day yesterday. No longer, now 4.5% for Tesla. So here we go. It's officially tariff time, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. The sky is falling. It's over. It's game over, man. It's just, we should feel like Bill Paxton in the Aliens movie. Like, it's just, he was the fear-mongering panic guy. Right. Who was he played the role brilliantly, by the way. I always loved him in that film. But
so you're that guy now?
No, I'm just messing with you. Look, obviously in the short run, and everyone, you look at your long-term account today, you're not going to be happy with what you see here. Nvidia down 4%, Tesla down 4.5%, Palantir down 5%. You saw Ford and GM. Hopefully no one, actually GM's not that bad of a daily chart, but hopefully nobody owns those. There's not a lot in terms of relative strength. But the NASDAQ, remember we had over a couple points yesterday. We're not even 1% to the downside. So this is it's an extended move for some of the tech names. But remember, we've seen this before. There's a difference between like when we're going sideways and tank at the open and when we're tanking going into the open after disaster when everyone's panicked. Those are usually when you see that little open rally is days like today. So we're geared up. See, the market, that is all right.
Randy's lost his mind.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Randy.
Yeah, crazy. Randy, how's it going? You got a haircut there?
Oh, no, I need to get a haircut.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. What do you think about all this tariff stuff? Pretty bad, huh?
It ain't good, Randy.
It's going to get a little chaotic, I think.
Rivian's at $11.
I think we are chaotic.
Oh, yeah,
well,
Rivian's going to lose a bit.
Chaotic?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit interesting.
Yeah, to say the least.
A little bit.
But you know what? It's not like we haven't been down this road before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like we saw a little bit of a tariff battle last time.
Yeah.
Things recovered from that. And in the 80s, not that I remember.
That
no, but not that I remember any of this,
80s.
but Reagan did this. Reagan did some
Reaganomics?
of this stuff. Reagan did some of this stuff too.
The 80s.
Yeah.
Wow. Now we're dating ourselves.
Look, I mean, the market, it's something like in the last 50 years, the market's pulled back 10% or more 25 times.
Yeah, it happens.
So it's like once every 2 years, the market has a decent-sized correction. And I think it was, out of those 25 times, 13 of them were more than 20-something%, 22, 23%. So, you know, you're 1 out of every 3 or 4 years, you get a decent-sized pullback, and you can never really see it coming. You know, this one a little different maybe because of the tariff talk, but to think that we were just at all-time highs 2 weeks ago, and now we're talking about what are we going to do? That's the dramatic part about it, that we've had such a bad run here in the last week, right?
Shorts.
2 of the last 3 days has been disastrous. And at Tesla level, Tesla's at 271 now.
I called it.
Yeah, you sure did call it. Yeah, there it is now.
You want to call a bottom next?
What do you mean? I thought we called the bottom.
No,
that was the whole point.
No, we need a new one.
New bottom.
We need a new bottom.
I'm going to say
260. Yeah.
Well,
you know what? If we just keep throwing enough darts, then yeah, eventually we'll pick the bottom. And I think that's how a lot of traders are trading right now.
220.
You keep buying names that you like, hoping that they'll hold, and eventually eventually it will. I hope. I mean,
buy some at 220.
I got
180.
kids.
Buy some at 140.
I mean, I got kids here, man.
It's all good.
I get your coffee in the bed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, thanks, Randy. Oh, and then IBIT today as well.
Bitcoin.
Sharif was mentioning a little bit about crypto there. Like 83,000, IBIT down 4%. It's giving back a lot. Like this is giving back a decent amount, right? Right back till the election. So now we wait to see if these levels hold. This was the gap there. You know, a lot of people were excited about crypto. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. It was looking like it was ready to go. Now all of a sudden, it's just been hit real hard here, man. But this is still the 200 period moving average. So if we're going to talk about that with equity, then maybe that is a bouncing level there. So that's around $43, $44. Right now we come in at, what, 47 today? So, you know, another 7%. That was that number I was giving, right? I was like, okay, 7% lower here, and we should be able to see something. That puts us at that like 75,000 or so mark. Wow, oh man! Like Cardano, as they mentioned again as well. Those are all to the downside here today. We'll call them up. Yeah, Solana, Ripple right here on the daily chart, trying to bounce, but at the same time, not really. Right back in here, 213, 214. If we go into even let's just check out the big ones real quick. So this is what Ripple's doing, right? Nice downside move. I'm just checking these ones out because they were mentioned. I mean, everyone has their own holdings. Okay, trying to bounce a little bit here on Cardano, but at the end of the day, Solana also been getting hit. This is a harder one for me to find. Solana, there it is. We'll just go US dollar. So yeah, down here to 133. So yeah, it hasn't been a great movement here for many of these coins. Nice bump up. I thought it was, I don't know about everybody else, but I thought that was really kind of shady just to drop that kind of a tweet. I mean, I don't know. It was great for the moment, but it gets people all riled up again.
A little bit.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's great when the move continues because then everyone's really happy that they got in. But a lot of traders that are trying to make a little bit of money on this crypto thing, people keep buying the tops, and it's hard not to do that.
The problem is it doesn't make a lot of fundamental sense as to why you would have anything but Bitcoin in a reserve. It just doesn't make. I get it. I mean, not to agree with the Winklevoss twins. It doesn't make logical sense. At the end of the day, that's what I think caught everyone off guard. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes there's just a little bit too much exuberance. Like the moves were insane, like 60%. You go up like that, any kind of a pullback. You go up like an elevator, down like an escalator. We've seen that before. And the number of names that I know a lot of people are throwing in the chat, like this is down this much, this is down that much. Like SoFi is already down 5%. So the things that rallied the best in the tech and growth right now are getting spanked.
Yeah,
those are the things that are going to get spanked. Like, when you see the market down 0.7% right now on the NASDAQ, it's names like SoFi that will be down 5%. Like they're not going to be down 1% on a morning like today.
Even that JP Morgan was back to the 50 period.
Well, okay, yeah, like the the financials are.
But you're not going to get 5% moves in JP.
No, JP,
that's the difference. But look
that's
where
a hefty pullback.
Look where it is.
It's a hefty pull. It's at that 50 period. So the XLF, which I've been buying, I said I was gonna wait until maybe I might not wait on the XLF for the next
Andre,
buy.
how's
I've
it
already
going,
bought
man?
once this quarter, but
Okay,
you're supposed to be
good. Yeah,
patient. If you're DCing every quarter, it's easy to see it go to the downside. And you're like, well, I'm not supposed to buy till like next month or the month after, but you're like, oh, but we're down again. Maybe I should buy. You got to be able to stay disciplined if you have a plan of action in your long term, especially on days like today. There's a super chat. I'm leaving it.
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
super chat. Yeah, no, it just says you look great, clean shaven. Thank you so much for Diego right there. The $10. Thank you, or R10. Yeah, I guess maybe, yeah, whatever, $10. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you know, we just decided, like John Cena turned heel, I tried to turn face, you know, so there we go. I went from the bad bearded trader to the clean shaven one. So thank you, Diego, much appreciated. And, to very, very handsome. Oh, and then they said to peel the banana like this.
Yeah, that's
take the tip, or the other way around, right? The bottom, squeeze it and peel it. So there we go. So whoever that was in the chat.
I got a DM on X. Someone saying to me, "It pains me to watch you open a banana the wrong way."
So there we go.
So I've been doing it
the right way, apparently.
Doing it
So yeah, there you go. But is it the right way though?
Well, it's how.
I mean, or you just whatever way you do is the right way.
It's how
it
animals
accomplishes
do it.
the same thing.
Even monkeys do it. Apparently, it's easier. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, okay, well, it didn't seem that easy, but okay, all right, back over the desk.
All right, a few other things to note here this morning. It's not all bad. I found one. ON.
Hey, I saw that one.
5% to the upside here. Good report for them this morning. Out early. This is primary listings over in Europe, so out very early with their earnings. It was up more than double this. We're back to $50 right now. This is that Roger Federer-backed running shoe company. I see more and more of these around.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely picking up popularity, so a nice beat for them.
Yeah, Brendo, it was really good here. 35.7% increase in their fourth quarter net sales. That's beating analyst expectations handily. They're driven by increased global brand awareness, strong direct-to-consumer performance, as well as wholesalers. So they're selling directly as well as using the retail outlets. Direct-to-consumer sales surged 43.5% year over year, while also wholesale surged about 30%, a little bit less than that. They're doing well everywhere, Brendo. It doesn't matter whether it's Europe, America, Asia Pacific, they're all double-digit growth. In fact, Asia Pacific, 117.5% year-over-year growth on the quarter, so good look there. Gross profit increasing, gross margins increasing. Not much bad to say about this.
They are spending a ton on marketing. I see them everywhere at this point. Everywhere you turn now, ON. Nice start, I guess, guys. We'll see if it can hold here with the move in the overall market, up 5% here.
You said something early, Brendan, which was like, I don't know how much earnings are going to matter on a day like today. Like, if the market's weak enough, even something that had a good report is going to be in trouble. We are getting a little bit of a bounce here in the market. It's not anything crazy, but we went from almost 1% to like 0.6 on the NASDAQ. But look, for ON, it's doing a trend break. It's doing a trend reversal. On most normal days, had the volume been a little bit better, I think you'd be talking about looking for that old continuation, but as you can see, like what already happened in the pre-market, like that continuation generally is, okay, maybe dip into prior highs, maybe break out a local top. This fell all the way back into the 50 level here in the pre-market, and there's not a ton of liquidity on this. So yeah, it's gapped up, but this was at $53. When you sit down, if you're sitting down early, and it was absolutely flying. So it's given a lot back, and you need to let something like this settle down. I mean, obviously, it's had some support. You can see it at like 47.5, 48. At that point, it's threatening to go red. So you need this one to settle at the open. It looked like, for all the world, like before this started dropping when you sit down in the morning, for all the world, it looked like a nice little support, and then buy it as it does a continuation play, maybe grab 51.5 or something like that. It's at $50. So that's out the window as far as I'm concerned. Because if you get a rally, there's going to be other places to be that I think are more exciting than ON. It's the shoe. Shoe companies are tricky because fashion, when it comes to this, like the fad business, sometimes it's like one fad to the next fad. I remember Allbirds. I have a pair of Allbirds. I don't think it's doing particularly well.
We haven't seen
Birds. So I don't know if this is going to have the staying power, but sometimes you ride the wave while they're successful for as long as it can go. Not really my thing. So.
Allbirds. You know what? I mean, when we are looking at some of these stocks, you know, like a stock like a Nike there, we just heard right here that, you know, it's a 10% added additional tariffs there for China. So I just wonder, like, how that's going to affect. This is a 200 period moving average. It's really followed that. So I like Nike. I think eventually, if this can all settle, we can you know, get off here and get going. So for me, I like a break long around like $82 for Nike to get into the long. But again, like, you know, many of these tech names are well below their 50 period moving average. At least we're kind of where we were back in the summer right now for Nike. So I could see maybe a little bit of a hold, but it's nice for ON. Yeah, but again, this is down at its 50. This is actually at its 200 period on the daily for ON. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with it, but up 7%. I like it. I don't know, I'm just really nervous about the market. My whole sticky note today is all shorts. So I'm definitely favoring a Tesla short and just to watch out for this. I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a bump up early and then the fade. So patience is going to be key definitely here. But yeah, I agree with Neil and what I didn't hear Brendan mention it, but you said that he did about earnings on a day like today might not. And I think I would agree there. I'd rather just trade the volatility and not worry about what people think is in a report. Like, I don't, you know, like, we know that the chip names are going to be moving. We know that, like, these auto names are going to be moving, right? So it's just like the futures. We've really nailed the triple Qs the last couple of days. And, you know, so if we're able to stick there and avoid single stock risk, that's going to be a great spot to play. Energy futures, we talk about nat gas, ETFs, Boyle, USO, things like that. So, all right, it could even be. We don't trade too many forex products on this show, but that's going to be another.
USD CAD's been moving a lot.
Going to be another thing to look at, and you know. Good idea to start a position in Oxy. Look, I mean, energy yesterday I think was down 4%. So
Oxy got smoked.
Right, like
I think you gotta wait, just hang on a minute.
I'm really waiting. I don't plan on buying anything right now. Like, I am so like long to the. Can't think of an appropriate word to say, but it's not. I'm not liquid enough. But we have some cash on.
It's always annoying. You know what? I can't believe I just did. I actually don't like when people do what I just did, where it's like you're not going to say the word, but you spell it out. Like, that doesn't require everyone to then say it in their head. So now, instead of me having the courage to say you're long to the tits, like, I just make you guys all say it in your head.
But then you just said it anyway.
No, because it was silly.
Yeah.
Silly. I do that with you get in the habit of doing that. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, we have the kids.
Around kids, but
I just want to know where Randy is because I need that.
That coffee would be nice.
Hey, didn't I see some dragon fruit or something in the fruit salad?
Oh yeah, I already ate all.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah,
I might have taken a few pieces.
No, I did. I was gonna go get some. I was like, man, that was good, man. They had the cantaloupe in there, the dragons.
Come on.
Yeah.
There's like a small.
Okay, but there's way bigger pieces.
There's bigger pieces in there, but
in there. That's refreshing, man. You know what? The thing about fruit salad is this: it's fruit salad time. You know, there it is. So it's, you know. Anyways, we have a thing for that. So.
We do. Yeah.
Just try to cheer people up on a day like today. You know.
Market's been bouncing.
Market's coming back. The market's ripping back. It's not.
We're good.
It's not.
No, it's
all right. Back over the desk.
All right. Joseph is standing by here, waiting patiently. He's going to give us a look at an options idea for today.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. So let's get right into this, guys. And we know what's going on with the market. We have a heightened increase in volatility. The VIX is spiking, and we have high levels of open interest at out-the-money options. So what happens with gamma, and how do you reduce your gamma exposure, all right? So I want to use this as an example here. This is a 2 DTE, so 2 days until expiry for a call option. And what we want to do here is we want to look at the delta and the gamma and how it affects the rate of change, okay? So one thing that I really want to point out here is that when we have an at-the-money option that is close to expiration, that's when gamma is at its greatest, all right? So we know with high levels of gamma exposure that we're going to have high levels of fluctuation within our options contract. So you can see here, guys, that with a $1 move in this underlying asset, this options contract will almost double. So that's really volatile. It's really fluctuating your options premium and your options contract, and it can put you in the money or out the money extremely, extremely quick. All right, so what do we do if we want to eliminate or reduce our gamma exposure? As I previously said before, this is a 2 days to expiry. And then you can see with every 1 point move in the underlying asset, the fluctuation is almost doubling. So within 1 point move, your options contract is also almost doubling as well. So what can we do to eliminate the fluctuation within our options contracts? Now, this is exactly what we can do. So this is an options contract with 45 days until expiration. Now you can see the difference between the 2 day and the 45-day expiration cycle. So you can see that with a gamma of only 0.05, so $5 for every 1 point move, that's only gonna fluctuate your delta by 10%. That's drastically less than what we had previously before. So it's very simple. If we want to stabilize our options contracts and stabilize our options positions, what we can do here is just roll our options with the exact same strike price, but to a further dated expiration cycle. So this one is 45 days. You can see that the gamma is only a 10% change when you go 1 point move higher, opposed to an 85% change with the previous 2 days to expiration cycle. So how do we implement this into our day-to-day options trading? Well, when you come into the week of expiration, all you do is close that position and then you roll it into a further dated expiration cycle. And that is how we reduce our gamma exposure, guys.
Great look there, Joe, and that's why we bring Joey Options on for you guys, because he talks about gamma, and like I saw all the Hulk jokes in there. I was gonna make one too, but then I'm like, you guys already beat me to the punch, and it's always about a wealth of information around the show here. And with that, we got a super chat with a question, so I want to make sure I get to this one, and it is, whoops, there it is. The only 4.0. Do you think this market climate mimics the beginning of the fourth quarter of 2022? I believe aggressive interest rate hikes were the catalyst then. So market cycles tend to rhyme with each other. They don't necessarily mimic. Everything is generally speaking like relatively unique to itself. And when you have the catalyst being interest rates and the Fed, it's a little bit different. I think this year I think is going to be much more choppy. And the people have said this before, not just myself. When you get back-to-back 20% type of moves, that's going to be a different environment in year 3, I think. And then the tariffs, who knows how this ends up? Could it be just a couple of weeks? Could it be a very short-lived battle and then a bit of a nothing burger that we all overreact to? Or could it be prolonged and have any inflationary pressures, which could throw in things in a whack? So I don't necessarily think it's the same. And obviously, is in terms of like buying the dip, when I'm thinking in the long term, I'm not long-term concerned. Generally speaking, I don't think we have any shocks that are scaring the you-know-what out of me. But I think this is quite different in that this is the thing about this administration. You could literally fast forward 1 month and most of this talk could be gone. It's entirely possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. And then we'll look back and say, why were we panicking a month ago? And I think that makes it very, very different from 2 years ago, in my opinion.
No, I don't think these tariffs will last at the end of the day. But I mean, I just think there's a little bit bigger problems under the hood is all. I just think there's some world uncertainty here and a lot of people trying to de-risk and maybe get into some cash because they are nervous. I mean, we were just at all-time highs. You know, corrections and pullbacks will happen, and it's happening in such big names. Like Nvidia's lost $1 trillion. You know, like it's not a joke anymore. And then Bitcoin was 109 and is now 83. And it's not that a lot of people. We already know that only 25% of our audience was invested in Bitcoin as of at the beginning of the year.
Who was buying over 100 besides Sailor and?
No, it's not even about
Marathon Digital.
No, it's not even about where you bought it because, you know, there's a lot of people that, for example, would dollar cost average into the market every month. And, you know, right now it's not feeling that great either for that. So it's just like nothing right now is working.
Well, I would say this.
Gold is down, energy's down.
But I was thinking this on the train in. If you DCA is a long-term strategy, I literally, because I'll tell you I do. I literally don't care when I DCA and it goes in the money 10% for me in a couple of months.
That's
So why
the
would I
idea,
care?
right?
Yeah, that's the idea of the DCA. It has nothing to do with short-term winning trades. If you're trading and swinging, different story. But if you're DCAing, you can't care too much when it goes in your favor because that's not the game plan in the short term. You are thinking about that long term. Like you're thinking about retirement. If I'm thinking about if I'm thinking about years down the line, I can't care too much about. It'd be great if you could pick the bottom. I never tend to think I'm smart enough to do it. So yeah, I like the DCA. But if you're celebrating too much on the DCA and then taking, trying to time to get out to buy more and getting too high on those wins, I think that can get you in trouble because then you're really panicking when it goes down a bit, which is how it goes.
I feel like you need to understand why you're getting in and what the purpose is. And if you need cash immediately, then maybe it is not the right thing to do. And no, yeah, you're right. So gold, I didn't realize gold had such a good day yesterday, 263 up to 265, and now today we're in that 269 or so area. So yeah, gold was falling back in. I wanted to buy more. I got involved when we started breaking here. I think it's like around this 248, 247 area, this area when we started to break higher. Didn't get anything out, but was also thinking about this would be something that I'm just getting involved with. So I was thinking about if we got down to the 50 period, and I saw that we were coming there. So my mistake on the gold call there. It does look like that's holding up. And then the other again, we talked about cash being king. Berkshire is at 52-week and all-time highs. Like right now, obviously yesterday, a little bit of a pullback, but that's a huge move for Berkshire. And we all know that they're sitting on $335 billion right now of cash. Could literally just buy almost any company in the S&P 500, but a couple of them anyways, that's for sure. So, okay, let's go back over to the desk here. We're going to walk through the watch list. Make sure you do scan the QR code there and grab that watch list. We have, yeah, it is free 99. That is right. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe. All 5,000 of you. Let's get that count going.
SOUN just popping up in front of me here. Back to the downside for that one as well. Down huge this morning for SoundHound AI. There's BT. CT, there's GCT, a whole bunch of little ones. Downside once again this morning. Some of those recent high flyers that were moving up, back down. I mean, on that note, there are a few still low float type names that are higher on the day. Here's one of them, TRNRMASSWINT, another one for anyone who's looking for some small float type names. Real quick, let's get some upgrades and downgrades from Adara.
Okta, one of last night's biggest earnings winners here, $125 price target here from D.A. Davidson. I believe it reached an earnings high here of about $100, so great look. Roku slightly down on the day, but getting an upgrade from MoffettNathanson. We've got HSBC with a Barclays upgrade, and last but not least, Scott's Miracle-Gro up 5% and getting a Stifel upgrade today. Downgrades, we have Magna kicking things off here, getting a downgrade from B of A Securities. JetBlue being downgraded by Deutsche Bank. We have Calumet being downgraded by TD Cowen. And last but not least, Frontier down about 3.5%. This downgrade also from Deutsche Bank. So the upgrade side of things provides a little bit of potential here.
58.61, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We're well below that already. 58.20 with the overnight low being 58.12. So here's the deal. We're going to try and use 5800 as resistance, support as that 100-point area. We did defend that area back all the way January 13th. We had bounced off that area, so we'll see 5800 comes into play. If we catch a bid, we're looking at that 50-point area as resistance.
Lots to understand this morning, Jim. And so make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Grab the first link in the description. It'll take you to that page. You need an email address, and then you get the watch list for free right to your inbox. Has everything that's moving around in the pre-market and why every single day. There's so much to know this morning. Let's get right into Tesla here. 4.5% just bounced off another fresh session low here. I mean, a couple of things. There was a note from Bank of America, price target cut from Bank of America. There's also China sales data that was out. This was one of the weakest going into the close yesterday.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of, I don't know. We'll see what happens today, Brendo, but these are not good numbers. So Tesla China sales decidedly down, Fabian, 49.2% year over year, down to 30,688 units, the lowest it's been, guys, since August of 2022. It should be mentioned that year to date, global, which is not that much so far, Tesla sales have dropped about 28.7% in China, down to about 93,900 vehicles there. Now, with respect to who's taking their market share, it's BYD. Brendo, they're up 90.4% year over year, selling about 615,000 cars. That includes obviously hybrids as well as ICE engines. Now, Tesla has to respond to this somehow, and they're looking at doing things there. They're upgrading their autopilot software in China. We got that in late February. They're also dropping the revamped Model Y, the Juniper, which have begun deliveries in China. So trying to move the needle there with respect to sales.
And this comes off what we learned last week with the European side of things down 50% since the last reading we got on that as well. So not good here, guys, for Tesla.
No, so yeah, I wrote.
Very bad, Jetty.
Yeah, it's very, very bad because you do get that. You do get that move down from Europe, and now China confirmed it as well. Yeah, was there a tariff on coffee now, Randy?
See that? No, but seriously, there's a tariff on our coffee.
There's gonna be tariffs on wages soon too. Not ours.
I mean, that was a funny. That's a good joke, I guess.
No, that was a good one. No, I like that, Randy. But
literally,
that's
there's
great.
like almost no coffee in there.
Okay. All right. So I wrote down 275 short here on weak China sales, with 280 sort of being the max pain. Because the thing is, you can go find it. I have a couple more ideas there on the sticky note. But this is the thing about Tesla. So VWAP is right now at 275. That's basically why I'm using that number. This can move basically nuts at any time because we are there could be a deal announced right now that the tariffs are off again. Like there could be anything at any time happening, especially exemptions being made for Tesla. I could see different things happening here. Of course, Elon is running around the White House, so he's not going to like to see what's been happening to the stock. Complete destruction of this stock, and now down another 4% today. Like I don't know. I'm thinking there could be. And we tried, it was at 300 yesterday. Like there could be another rip your face off rally if something is done at the White House today, or we get the same kind of talk, we bump up to VWAP, we hang out, and then we get lower. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I wrote down 280 as like a max pain level just because I just think an even number there. I could see us, making a move past there. There's the 200 period at 278, so you may average in around there as well. And then I would just say, hang it up if you lose that $4 or $5 on this trade and get out at 280, call it a day and regroup. But see what I mean? I was just looking at this thing at 271, 272. Now you're really going here as if there's almost a deal. There's not a deal. The Nasdaq's going up, but this is what I'm saying. You can move up $1, $2 easy on this name. So I like the short because of the talk and because of the catalysts. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to hitch my wagon really anywhere early today. But that's just an idea that I have. And if I like 275, maybe it is better to wait for 280.
I like 278.
Right. Okay.
Because that's the 200 period on the daily is kind of a little bit closer to that level. And then it's just yesterday's low. I mean, Friday's bottom and yesterday's bottom are both 278. So that's the only, if it's breaking out away from, to me, if it's at 278, if it's breaking out over 280, I really don't want to be short at that point. But I think in that range, if we get a pop, I think unless if we're not flushing right away at the open, then we've seen this type of day where you've had to wait for your chance to short a pop because when you're this panicked, relief rallies can be explosive at 9:30.
You know what?
So I think it's being a little bit patient here. But that prior low is what I'm going to be looking at here for Tesla. Was crazy that I wasn't even looking at Rivian. And then when Randy came by, we pulled up the chart.
I know.
And then I looked at this one. It's look at that floor at $11.40. I would almost treat that the same thing. If it, for the entire week, you held on to the same bottom, if you try to break that today and fail it, that pre-market high, that looks like a pretty good fade to me, but it's the same principle. It's just looking at the prior support level and saying if we don't break it out, revert that short.
You know what I think, and this has nothing to do with Tesla or anything like that, but you know what, like Intel down here at $22, I actually think that this is going to be getting close to being a buy because like Nvidia's gotten killed. A lot of these chip names, Broadcom, AMD, forget about AMD's $95, $97. I don't know what it is. Rate this minute right now. Only saying that. The market's rebounded, so we can have a look at that in a minute. But I was just thinking like, this is still, you know, the 200 period, we were just right there. We're still well above the 50 period moving average. This could be one that could find a bounce, right? Because like Nvidia, even though Nvidia's at 101, it's now at 110.50. This, you know, Nvidia to go back up $10 is about that 7 or 8%. Intel could go, you know, easily like $4 back to 26. But $4 on 22, you know, that's a little better than that 10%. So I think Intel does have a chance there, maybe a little safer of a play. Can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I was just looking at the chart of Intel only being down right here and hovering above VWAP on the day. I don't know. I was looking at this name. Anyways, all right, let's go back to the desk because unfortunately crypto is kind of still tanking.
Ooh.
The reversal candle on the daily chart, if you zoom out a little bit, at the end of the day yesterday, we get the gap, and then, yeah, that's gone. For IBIT, we're below where it was going back to Friday at this point. So 3.6% here coming on the news of this.
That gap got filled in a hurry, Brendo.
Yeah,
wow,
quick.
That's an aggressive gap fill there. Let's talk about what's going on here. So Donald Trump dropped a tweet, or whatever you're calling it, a post these days on X Sunday night. He announced the U.S. crypto reserve, including Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Solana, and ADA. However, crypto backers are quite disgruntled about this because they only wanted Bitcoin in the strategic reserves. Critics are arguing other cryptocurrencies are too risky and benefit only select investors. So some notable crypto names like Anthony Pompilano, Joe Lonsdale, we got the Winklevoss, twins, basically all coming out and saying, you know, you shouldn't be using taxpayer money to be buying these riskier tokens. Winklevoss saying Bitcoin should be in the reserve only as it's a store of value. And some others, Brendo, are coming out and complaining about this whole thing here. So being linked, obviously, to the tariffs as well as to the inclusion of some of these non-Bitcoin coins.
Just real quick on Apple, it's not really doing anything, just kind of hanging out here at 238. But they teased this yesterday, this new iPad Air. It's now a thing. So there are some images. Where did that go? There it is. There are some images floating around now of this new iPad Air with the M3 and the keyboard. $599 it'll start at for this. So not really moving around here, though, for Apple, guys.
Although Apple, I just saw Apple was green. So that immediately sets it apart from just about everything else in tech land. So
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to look at Apple in just a quick second, because that actually matters to me. If you're already green and the market's still trying to rally from being down, that's a good sign. As far as Bitcoin goes, IBIT Friday high 48.4, which is I think it's pretty close to 85, if not almost spot on. And then yesterday afternoon when you flushed and bounced off of 48.4. So that's I don't know, like it's going to sound like a broken record because this either it's a prior low or a prior resistance. And a lot of yesterday's lows are going to be that interesting spot for a reversion. And it's the same thing with IBIT here for me. So it's about 85K. It's 48.4. Going to look for the pop and fade on that. And just to that point, make sure, is Apple still? Apple's exactly flat, which is better than everything else is doing. Apple is an example of a stock in tech that did not lose. Like it held Friday's lows yesterday, and it's held the lows again. So this 236, I mean, if this holds 236 throughout the open, Apple's along. For it to even be up right now is a pretty good sign.
So, yeah, I mean, look, when I was I think I might even tweet this out, like I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this guy tweeting about ADA in Cardano. I was like, what this has, like, can't believe this is actually being discussed. But you know what else makes me very nervous? When I hear people talk about store of value. Okay, anything, and this is like, if that's the bull case, and I didn't sell anything here. I'm buying more Bitcoin, so it's not. But it's like, what kind of a store of value drops 10% like this, like that's not a store of value. Like, I don't care what they want it to be. That's not what it is. So, you know, you're not getting gold dropping like that. You're not getting US dollar dropping like that, or the yen. Well, maybe the yen carry trade. But at the end of the day, anything can happen. But Bitcoin does do things like this. And it's just like people, I think it's just a little bit of a disservice to be mentioning things like that, because then people do get a little carried away thinking that maybe this is a safe haven. I like Bitcoin. I'm not, you know, I want to buy more of it. I said that, you know, what my sort of plan was and what I'm trying to do with it. So, you know, but it's not really a store of value. It's like saying, like, you know, the Apple stock is like a store of value. Over time, fine, we have 30 years of data that can show that. But, you know, your money's not safe anytime. You put it into anything that's investable like this. So real estate, anything, it doesn't really matter. But the next sort of level to buy, in my opinion, if you're waiting and even if you've bought this, I think right now is a decent spot if you like it at the 200 period moving average. But I do think that the 60 to 65 area is going to be something right now. So, you know, I'm not going to look at the chat or anything like that, because I'm sure the crypto bulls don't like it, and the bears might be agreeing. So you win some and you lose some, but I just don't know if it's a store of value yet. It's just a little too volatile, and the minute you start talking like that, people get excited, and I just don't know if it's the right spot to put.
The fundamental, to me, the fundamental difference is Bitcoin. There will only ever be a fixed amount.
Oh no, it's the one.
I think that's the difference. But the problem is, like, the reason for that, holding it and making it more stable, hasn't materialized.
Right.
I think at some point in the future, and who knows, maybe it's when you're pretty much already at the maximum, maybe that'll be the case. But I think in the long term, that's the argument. But it doesn't actually behave that way.
As long as there's bids.
Yes.
You know, like if people stop buying, then that's it, right? There's really nothing underlying. There's nothing supporting Bitcoin. At least gold, there's actual
greater
gold.
fool theory.
Yeah, greater fool theory, right, exactly. So that's the whole thing, right? Same thing with art, all this stuff, right? You just have to appreciate it to own it. And if people think Bitcoin's going to appreciate, then yeah, they'll probably start to buy.
Or Trader TV Live mugs.
Yeah. And by the way, get your TTVL coin.
But you can drink out of this, so it is useful.
Yeah, there's something there. You could smash it against something. All right, let's go back over to the desk and talk about, again, another great success story over the last couple of weeks.
Who are they?
We'll just be positive. It's like a great week for Nvidia.
Oh boy.
Not so much. 3.2%. It is bouncing right now, so there's that. Back above 110 here. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot as far as individual reasons for a move today outside of the market move, but another one yesterday that got absolutely smoked all day long.
I don't know if we hit SSR on this yesterday, but I know we were down 9%. So I don't know if we actually triggered that perimeter or not. Let's talk about how tariffs are going to hurt Nvidia. So Nvidia dropped 9% on Monday following, obviously, Donald Trump's confirmation of tariff imports on Canada and Mexico. Now, Nvidia's, believe it or not, it is now at pre-US election levels, losing that $3 trillion market cap down to about 2.79. But there's going to be possible pain here, specifically from tariffs for Nvidia. Nvidia manufactures most of its chips, as we know, in Taiwan, but it does assemble some high-end systems in Mexico and the U.S., making them vulnerable to these tariffs. So the impact remains uncertain until the U.S. government provides further details. There's also this story right now. So what's going on is that there's quite a bit of shipments going to Singapore from Nvidia. About 18% of their total shipments go to Singapore, or the revenue is coming from Singapore, yet the actual chips, the amount that's actually going to Singapore is only 2%, which is calling into question Singapore as a possible sort of proxy for the chips finding their way into China. We already saw this with DeepSeek, Brendo. So we're going to have to keep this in mind as the U.S. government starts investigating them, and there could be more tariffs coming in on, some more restrictions, I should say, coming in on China, Brendo, which some analysts are saying about $4 to $5 billion a year in revenue could be hit if more restrictive restrictions.
Can you just go back to that?
Yeah, what's going on?
The one before?
The one before?
The 18%?
Yeah. This is a real deal, Brendo. This is the real deal. Revenue from Singapore,
Math.
18%.
That's
shipments.
math.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, I think everyone knew this was happening. It was just how much.
It's like, so everything tanks on the DeepSeek news because it's like, oh my goodness, they can do it more efficiently without NVIDIA's expensive
Right.
chips. But then you're getting a bunch of that equipment, so who knows what they're using in the first place? So that could be a positive in some ways. But I get it. Look, right now, as we've been saying, like you lost that DeepSeek. And we're only calling it the DeepSeek low because that was the day, that 113. So that's gone. That was the spot that I was looking for an SSR bounce from because it did yesterday when it went over 10% down. Now there isn't really a level until you get like 106. 100 as well for NVIDIA. Those are a couple levels that I'd look for an SSR bounce. Just meaning I want a mean reversion long. So something like distinct trend down or capitulation down and then look for a trend break, like something along these lines, like that kind of a trend line break. Oops, there you go. Like that kind of a trend line break the trend, look to join the move to the upside. That's the only long play I'll be making on NVIDIA if it gives me one of those fills. Otherwise, that 113 level, the DeepSeek low, gives you a great spot to look for a reversion on. The other is SMCI. Yeah, SMCI is not on the list, is it?
No, but you can talk about it, of course, yeah.
All right, so SMCI is also going to be SSR. What's distinctly different about SMCI is it just rallied back to the pre-market high. So this is a bit of a different story from NVIDIA in that the level that I think you would have faded to, it's pretty much right there. So I'm going to back away from SMCI. Like I generally thought, yeah, you pull back into prior lows, that'll be the play today. But SMCI's pull all the way back into that top already. So I like the chip names. If it's not NVIDIA, it's going to be Intel 23. Intel 23 looks good because that was week-long support, and anything that is underneath big support that we can short under a big support level from last week, that I want to play into. And that was a big one at Intel at that 23 even dollar. So I think I'll go that in NVIDIA, whereas SMCI, that was a much bigger bounce up that it's been able to make than I was expecting. So I'm going to back away from shorting that, at least early.
Yeah, I think this could be, again, another really interesting open. We're going to wait to see where these imbalances come through. But for right now, yeah, we did have NVIDIA written down as 113. We wanted to watch VWAP, as it seems like $100 is going to be in its view. I don't know if it's going to be there today or not. I think that 115 for a top, and I wrote this all down in here. You can go find it. But I think that will be, that's on X. I think that will be the top. If we're going to do anything, that was sort of, I mean, Neil just sort of broke down some of the levels, but like yesterday, kind of where we closed in there at 115. If we retake that and we turn green on the day, then I think NVIDIA could really run, and that would be flipping long situation for me, and then trying to figure out wherever this 200 period is for some momentum. So this is for the trend change. So, which would be support if we take 115. So if we take 115, look for the 200 for support after that. But for right now, I'm not going to ignore the momentum and where this thing seems to be going. There's a lot of traders that have made a lot of money on NVIDIA and just wondering if, you know, they're starting just to cash out, getting nervous about it. I think that's what's been happening with Palantir, and it's what's happening with NVIDIA, Robinhood, and some of these big names that have really ripped. But anyways, NVIDIA is a completely different beast, which it's lost over $1 trillion in market cap. It's just getting, like, it's wiped out more than almost any other company's even worth in the last 2 weeks. So I would watch out for that. That 109 there for a break. I said let's start the offering in and around here 113, but now looking more like around a 112, started around there. And then, like I said, deal with 115 when it gets there. But for me, that would be the ultimate pain. I'm looking to short basically, you know, like anywhere kind of like in this area up into here, yesterday's lows. We'll see if we can short, you know, 112.50, 113. So, you know, that's the play for me on NVIDIA. And it's unfortunate because, you know, I last bought this name at 118 and, you know, it went up to 140 and you didn't do anything about it, right? So that's the case with a lot of these stories. So, all right, let's go back over the desk and talk about a name that will be very heavily traded, Gitlab.
Heavy.
First off, this portion of the show brought to you by our friends at Foremost Energy. Unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines, with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your energy or your entry on the NASDAQ FMST here in Toronto on the CSE FAT. Go to foremostcleanenergy.com. Yeah, Gitlab, nice bounce underway here. 4.2% still on the downside of things. The initial reaction after the close yesterday was actually upside, but I mean, the overall market pretty weak, so tough.
Well, it was a beat on top and bottom line, Brendo. It's not a bad look for their quarter. Let's talk about how they did. 33 cents per share. The street was looking for 23. This is for the quarter. Revenue came in at about 211 million. The street wanted 206. It was an easy beat there, but now, the forward quarter guidance, a little bit, kind of in line or a little bit below. They're guiding EPS 14 to 15 cents. The street wanted 15. They're guiding revenue of 212 to 213. The street wanted 212 and a third. But this is where they miss. So full year 2026 earnings, they're guiding EPS between 68 to 72. The street was looking for 79 pennies there. So that's an easy miss. Revenue in the range of 936 to 942. The street was looking for 939. So a bit of a midpoint there. Down 4.2, Brendo, here in the pre-market.
Yeah, not a lot of interest either on this, it seems anyways. Volume pretty low here, guys, for Gitlab.
And as we were sort of in the afternoon aftermarket show, we were sort of pointing out that this one really managed to rally after that initial dump and looked like it was at least possibly setting up to have trapped some people and tried to go squeeze. Well, you can throw that out the window. So, yeah, I don't think Gitlab gets traded today. That said, anytime something like this, on the off chance it does go green and get back above 56, like there might actually be some kind of like a little squeeze-ish breakout trade into 60, kind of what it did in the aftermarket yesterday. But outside of that, I don't think I'll be looking at Gitlab. Oops, I want to show you the daily chart. I don't think I'll be looking at Gitlab. And for the long term, I mean, it just lost the 200-period moving average, simple moving average on the daily. There's not a heck of a lot to like about this, closer to the local bottom than it is to the highs. So, yeah, even if it settles down, like maybe it turns into some kind of a swing short underneath the 200-period moving average to the lows. That's actually possible there for Gitlab. But as far as the day trade, not really seeing it today. Not with you have a plethora of names. You have more names to choose from today than El Guapo had piñatas in the Three Amigos.
That's a great. I want to watch that movie again. Like that's one you could watch with the kids. I'm certain there might be some.
There might be a few things in there that a little.
I mean, some things that might not last like in today's day and age. Maybe.
True. I love
like the comment. Different way. Anyway, okay. I just want to say, like, Nvidia, we're talking about Gitlab, but we had wrote down on the sticky note again to watch out for VWAP, right? It just bounced off of that, and now we're starting to head lower. So I just want to show everybody, we don't have the imbalances out yet. But do you see this letter here? This means buy or sell, okay? So, Fabian, dramatic effect has to be, Fabian, I need to show this. So this is just SSSSS. This is not Superman. SSSSSSSS. I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down to see if anything changes. What? Okay, Nova. Oh, it's gone. Okay, but there was some buys there at some point. Oh, there it is. There's Nova right there going up to, this is what, an 80-cent stock, 56-cent stock, so let's not get too carried away. But at the end of the day, BAC, BBAI, NIO, Ford, AT&T, there's Walmart, down to 94. Wow, okay. This could be something there. Down 3 points for Walmart. That's interesting to me. SMR, man, we shake our head at this one because this one's down to $14 right now. Pfizer's a sell. Like, no, Baba's a sell. Nothing spared today.
TSM was a buy I saw there.
Did you?
And it's up today.
Oh, well, yeah. TSM had that announcement yesterday with Trump. So, yeah, there's going to be some amazing green shoots in this market today. Like TSM, I'm going to be flooding to buy some TSM.
Apparently.
It's nice that Bitcoin's holding 83,000. Okay, crypto takes energy time.
We don't typically look at, obviously, but worth a note, considering what is taking place and will over the next coming days and weeks here. That's crude oil. If you zoom way out, this is a weekly chart.
Oh.
So we're teetering here on support. This is trading right now 67.75. So basically at the support if it's going to hold, it needs to do so immediately off the open here, and we'll see how things go. But equities a little bit worse off as far as oil-related names are concerned this morning. Definitely going to be volatile.
Brendo, that level that you're showing right now, we used to call that the strategic oil reserve level, because the Biden administration kept replenishing the strategic oil reserve every time we hit that level. So I'd be looking for it to bounce off. We'll have to wait and see whether Donald Trump and the new administration does the same thing. But what I want to show, Fabian, right now is nat gas. We are at multi-year highs right now. We're up almost 6% here to start the day for nat gas. This is the nat gas futures contract, breaking that 4 1/3, 4.6. Now we're making newer highs as I speak here, Brendo. So nat gas in focus. It's not just, to warm up homes. We're talking about nat gas actually being used as a nuclear alternative to power these AI data centers. So multi-year highs.
Yeah, many different angles to take, obviously, but again, not typically a group we look at. Lots of potential volatility here, though.
Absolutely. I was going to mention the nat gas breakout as well there, Sharif, but shout out to those who picked that. I know Sharif's got that for his pick of the year when we did our each our 3 picks. And I know Michael Noss has been mentioning this. He'd mentioned the breakout potentially today for an adding spot for himself in a long in nat gas. A lot of people have asked about the destruction. Have asked about the weakness in Oxy and whether it's going to be a bit of a buy zone for it. The trend needs to break. Oxy, it's got a triple bottom, which is great, but if I was looking for a swing trade in this, which I'm not, at least not until there's confirmation, I want it to break this trend in some kind of a meaningful way. A triple bottom here on Oxy at the 45 level. So, I mean, there's always a chance you could bounce off this 45 here today for a trade, but there's so much to look at today. I just feel like Sean said earlier, we know the chips are going to move. Like, there's almost no chance Nvidia is gonna be a sleeper today. So win, lose, or draw, you've got those prior lows that we can work off of, and it's also going to be that the DeepSeek bottom that got put in. Want to be able to respect that. One name that we didn't mention that's on my list is Palantir. Palantir. Look, everything dropped yesterday. So I mean, to say Palantir had a weak day yesterday is kind of ridiculous. Like, everything did. So there's 2 levels on Palantir. The 85. Which was that prior resistance on Friday, which it's very far away from, seemingly so. But for Palantir to rally and be a fade at 85 when it's $80, Palantir can do that. Like, we saw Palantir drop $7, $8 yesterday. So believe me, it can bounce and be a fade at that 85 level. So that's the one name we haven't talked about that's on my radar for pop and fade. We mentioned Intel, I think already, 23. Tesla just fell again to 270 even. Wow. The market's bouncing, or had bounced a bit, and Tesla's right back at the low, Sean. It's like,
these things are so volatile, man.
Punished.
We did have, I just did the NASDAQ, I just did the imbalances, and the NASDAQ came out and did not save anybody whatsoever. Nope. So Amazon is at $200 even. So that's nasty, man. Going for its 6th straight down week for Amazon. There's Nvidia just joined the club as well. As we just mentioned, they're a little bit of a sell. I mean, these things are changing rapidly. Apple's there with a sell now. Like, nothing changed, right? I mean, it's basically all still big sells on big names. So yeah, man, pretty nasty right now. I wanted just to review the TQs because, again, I think the futures are going to be a play. I want to look at a little bit of a longer period, and it's only 5 minutes, but that's 69.50 right now, where the 50-period moving averages. I wrote down on the sticky note looking at 70 up there, but when I wrote it down, that's where we were. So I think 69.50 maybe for something early. That may be too early. I don't. Like, the market could pop, it really could. Like, these sell imbalances get wiped out and the buyers come in, right? So that's $70 up to 70.50 maybe on the TQs. So let's sort of like hold. I want to really hold the cards a little close early here. Like, so I wrote down Tesla 275. I heard Neil say 270. So I think 275 probably a good short there for Tesla. So that would be one that I could see myself getting into real early. Nvidia, the kind of the same thing as Tesla. I don't think I want to be short both of them. So maybe we'll hold off on Nvidia right now. There's more negative news about Tesla. And then Palantir, I wrote down 83. I think that can easily get up there. Right now, Palantir can easily get to 83 where we closed yesterday. So that would be a level for me there as well. So that's something that we're talking about. What's up, Adara?
Just want to really quickly spotlight our friends at Foremost Energy because they have this expanded drilling at their Hatchet uranium project. Foremost Clean Energy is launching an 8-hole, roughly 2,000-meter drill program at its Hatch and Uranium property in northern Saskatchewan, targeting high-priority areas identified in 2024. There's also been some encouraging early results because the 2024 program did confirm uranium mineralization at the Richardson Trend and Tuning Fork Conductor, with promising geochemical and structural indicators supporting further exploration. And with growing global energy needs and nuclear power adoption by major tech companies, Foremost sees its uranium exploration efforts as crucial for future supply, particularly with increasing interest in small modular reactors, or SMRs. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. With about 30 seconds to the open, there was a nice little bounce happening in some names in the market, but it's Nvidia that's actually containing or extending it, where it's right back into the 110. Oh, one last thing. We mentioned Apple. Apple wasn't on the note, but Apple was holding green. It does, as long as it holds on at 236 in the opening range. I'm going to be looking for some longs. But it is Tariff Tuesday, so brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. There's the opening bell, and Joe's going to ring it this morning. So let's get this party started in 3, 2, and 1. Joe.
Okay. All right, we're open and we're going down. All right, so there it goes down. Sorry, we just popped a little bit there to the downside. We'll see if it wants to hold outside now. So here comes Tesla. Here comes Palantir. Tesla all the way up to 272. Here we go. 274 is VWAP. We're sitting around 275-ish to see if there's something going to be holding up for us right there. We have over 10,000 people watching. Hit the like and the subscribe. Let's get going a little bit on that one right now. Apple, no. I want to check out Nvidia real quick right now. We're going to get involved with something up to the 200 period right now goes Nvidia. So they're trying to battle this name back. S&P starting to go back up. NASDAQ kind of holding its spot right here as potentially there goes energy maybe. ES down actually more right now than the NASDAQ. Here comes Tesla, Neil, right up to 275.
Intel just tanked right to 22 even, so forget about that one getting up to 23 for a fade. That is absolutely flying to the downside. You're right, Tesla going to get to VWAP here. As long as it's underneath that 78 level, I'm going to like it for a fade. Nvidia is getting to 113. Palantir, okay, Palantir, is that going to come up far enough? Not yet, so Palantir only at 81, but we're getting that little bit of a relief rally, especially in NVDA. And then last one for you, remember, crypto has got to be in play. Bitcoin doing absolutely nothing off the bottom. So you get a bit of a bounce in some of these risk names, not happening so far for Bitcoin, which is now threatening to take out its morning low. So a little weakness still there in BTC.
All right, I'm going to try at VWAP right now. We just missed it again, though, on Tesla. I think you can really scalp. Like, if you can get a short on a pop, this thing will draw. Like, you can scalp it pretty quickly. You could also get run over. We're rating right here, right now, 273.25. Take a short right here on VWAP. And then, again, watch out for this 276, 278 area, as we had mentioned. But see? We were just like 10 cents away from getting short. I thought we'd get it. It went to 273 and change there. So I think that this is definitely in play. The NASDAQ has fallen out, right? So the TQs, again, we should have looked there. We kind of had that hunch that this is where we wanted to go and not look at single stock risk. But there it is. Okay, so we are now in Tesla right now. So that this trade is now on for me. We're going to watch it. I do have, I mean, what we wrote down was 275. So I do have an offer up here at 274.50. Maybe we can wait for that, but we said that we could get a quick little drop down in. So let's see if we can make a quick dollar on, there it is, a quick dollar on a third of it, Neil. That's the kind of money we're talking about. There's a quick dollar. It's now $2 in the money. That's a $2 winner right there for Tesla. But again, very, very volatile, man. Like, if you're scalping like this, it's a completely different story. So let's get ready to rock and roll. This could turn out to be an L. We take out a third there for $1. Let's wait for 275 and see if that can come into play. And then give it to 278. So I want to thank all 11,000 of you for coming on board. We are now short. Right now, you'll see our positions below. I'm short Tesla. I can't see yours, but right now we got to get that daily watch list. You can definitely scan that QR code right there so you're flat. Okay, so here we go. Tesla, nice downside move here, $1 plus now.
Yeah, nothing yet. Tesla obviously going to be a great one to the south side. Nvidia is still heading higher. Intel still at the low of the day. You're going to preach a little bit of patience here. The one that is going to possibly give us that pop in favor, at least for myself, that I wanted to short on, is looking like it might be Palantir into the prior day low, which is 82.5. It got to 82 even. So if we get any kind of a reversion, we'll look for the fade there. Super amount of strength there on Nvidia. Oh yeah, SMCI. for everybody. Remember I said that looked a little bit strong? SMCI could go green. I think it was right to back off of SMCI. I don't know why this one is particularly strong, but there's no question about it, it is. And the one stock that I kind of liked for a long trade was Apple. Apple is holding the low and trying to break the high. So you got a strong one here in Apple, holds out that bottom. We'll look for like a 237. What's all these wicks? These wicks are real, actually. 237 is the opening range bottom there in Apple. I know it's hard to see, but if we get any retest of that, I would look for the long in Apple, waiting patiently for the reversion on Palantir. And once it does it, it's about the pre-market high right now. If it breaks trend, I'll look for the quick short of the pop on PLTR. I'm willing to take reversions on Palantir. If it's over 85, that's when I would stop the hunt.
Yeah, so right now we did, Tesla goes right to our posted 275 level. We're short now at 274 flat. Nvidia's also at our level right here. So let's, remember, I'm getting out if we break 278 on Tesla. So I don't want to mess around. Like I said, I don't want to be short Tesla and Nvidia at the same time, but Nvidia is at a level that I thought, was shortable. But we had worried that there was going to be a little bit of a bounce to come. So, all right. We're short at 274 quarters right now on Tesla. So let's go 273 flat, see if we can get out of a piece down there. If we do dip dive back in, we'll take it, man. We are having a nice move higher here on TSLA. So we're in the money on it or just about flat right now. So let's let this go. We've already made a little bit of cash, but we are now short again Tesla. We wanted 275. That's what we got on board. So let's wait to see if it wants to work out for us. My next offer, though, is upside near 277. So hopefully we can, get something up and around there and add to this position and see if it breaks through 275. I mean, 278, sorry, that's going to be the top for me. So we'll wait around and see what's going on. Nvidia also at these levels. Thanks everybody for watching as this market just bounced off its pre-market low down here at 20,003. So.
Yeah, market making a bounce off those lows, as Sean already mentioned. I wish Bitcoin was doing a little bit more than it is, but it's not.
Oh, it just bounced nice, actually. Bounced $1,000 bucks.
Actually, check that.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, I looked back up again, and you're absolutely right.
Me too. I thought it was going down.
But right into the, that smells good. Right into the prior low
Google's
comes
green.
that Palantir. Google's green, Apple's green. Palantir is about to take out that 83.
Tesla's
so we took
ripping.
the first shot at it at the prior low, and now you're out. So once you break out the top, you're going to jump away from the trade. Waited for one shot at the high, at least we're patient, but this market is in a huge relief rally now. You're absolutely right about IBIT. We could get to that 48.4, which is 85,000 level. That's the spot that I said to me, over under. It's that prior low. Going to wait patiently for that trade. If you're trying to short into this relief rally, patience is required. Let it get to the level, let it travel there, and see what happens when it does, if eventually get there. It was only Apple that I liked to the long side, and look at this thing. It's not even moving. So let's throw that one out the window, because I think we're going to get Bitcoin at that 85,000 any second now as we go to Adara.
Two earnings names looking really good here. One of them is Okta, OKTA. This one had strong earnings last night. Guidance also pretty strong. GTLB was a bit more mixed when it came to its guidance, so it did beat on earnings. Right now, though, nice push here into the open, though it is definitely removed from yesterday's highs. So GTLB, OKTA trying to pop off the open. TGT, another earnings day one name, doing the exact opposite, quite weak on the day for Target. Guys, back to you.
Okay. Yes. All right. Here we go. All right. So yeah, Tesla's going to break 278. So this will be the short that we had said that we want to get out of. I was going to look at 280, but honestly, we're in this price at 275.71. So it'll be about a $2. Won't even be $2, but I don't know what the slippage will be like. So let's just call it $1.50 or so if it does break. See, there it is. So now we're only out $1 if you want to take it out. But Tesla's definitely getting excited here. Right back up to VWAP. So yeah, we're in it right now. Tesla short. And then there's our 115 short on Nvidia. And again, if we break that, then we're gone. And there it goes. And we were debating going long through Nvidia there, but we did not do it. Looks like we might have just got stopped out at the top, but that was only a 20-cent hit on very limited shares because we didn't want to really mess too much around with that 115 level if we got there. And of course, we got there real quick. But now it's retracing a little bit. Now I think we could try to put it maybe back on here and give it up to that at 118. What was the high there? 115, whatever that wick was, 115.20. I think we can try one more time here. But there goes Tesla. So Tesla does take 278. So not much to do right there. It does take it out. Tesla to the upside right there. Great trade if you were long. You know, I just thought there was too many catalysts to take that position. But all right, here it comes right back.
You had Freeland talking about 100% tariffs on Tesla.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's smart.
That's the. She was the
and here it goes right back down.
In the Canadian government. She resigned, but she's running for leadership of the party that's going to lose the election. So
we had that top at Tesla.
IBIT. Oh, we're not in IBIT, but IBIT might have missed the turn on IBIT as I went over to Intel.
We've got the futures.
Intel gave us that pre-market high almost perfectly there, so we were able to get 22.46. I actually added some at 49. But it's first in, first out, so 49 and 46. I got the 46s left. It just tried to bounce off VWAP at 22.25.
There goes Nvidia.
Got one more bid at pre-market lows here, and then we'll work this 22 even. So we're getting this one down to the low. The market now starting to nicely come back in. So there we go. Got Intel to the short side. We're too early on Palantir. And IBIT, we just
my God,
missed
Nvidia or
that
Tesla.
IBIT move off that 48.4. We did get to 85,000, though, on Bitcoin. Just wasn't quick enough to be able to get the turn on IBIT. We got Intel working to the downside. Market coming right back in.
Holy guys, we literally just top ticked Tesla on a good position. Like, that is unbelievable. We actually mentioned even 278. Look where it goes. It's okay. We got $1 right now on Nvidia off our 115. So that's going. And we got 80 handles. We told you that we would be in this futures play today. So here it goes. Nice downside move for the futures. So Tesla, whatever, but here we go, man. It is a nice move here that we're capturing back on the futures. A good take there, right back into view up. Now we go back up to the upside. Maybe we just like throw up a flag for Tesla and just wait and buy dips, because that was like, oh man, we just got taken out right there. I remember our average price was 270. We said we're going to lose about $1.25, so it was like 276.80 something or whatever it was. At the end of the day, an L is an L, but wow, that sucked, because there goes right back in. So that's okay though. We make a little bit back here with Nvidia. We did get stopped out at 115 quick, but then we realized we didn't put that much risk into it. So let's get back there. Now Nvidia coming back just a little bit. Let's exit some more down here and watch out for these future plays. They're starting to work out now, so maybe we don't drop them. Let's just wait to see. That Tesla's going to haunt me, but hey man, we're here to trade, and we took a shot. Again, we just got run right at the top. At least we had the trade, guys. But this is a big one, man. 100 handles right now on the Qs. So, yeah, we're still in this. 100 handles. This is actually, this could get nasty. Nvidia also falling down there. Short Intel over there, Neil, so good call. But, yeah, right now we're going to start to exit some of these positions. Let's go. Oh, that Tesla really is a
ES just broke the low of the day. NASDAQ is holding up, but the S&P 500 just broke the low of the day.
Oh my God.
So you're getting a lot of weakness come in. It was one of those, like, the relief rally did happen off of the open. You just had to find the fade spot. So under VWAP and under the lows. Got a bid here at 22 on Intel, and then let's just see how far it can go. And by that, 21.25. Any short today, I'm going to be out of this one in front of 21 because that's a 50-period moving average. So any reloads going to want to take that. I said back away from SNCI off the open because it was so strong. Look at the turn on this. I know it's green, but that just fell like $1.20 and looking really, really nasty. Tesla, yeah, I mean, Tesla's really starting to get pumped to the downside. No, it's all
crazy.
The short is definitely coming in. It was a big-time head fake. Have a look at AMD. That's another weak stock, but some of these are above VWAP. So the things that are above VWAP, I want to stay away from. Give me the ones that are losing it right now for the short trade to be able to cash these, because I'm only thinking short until proven otherwise right now. Yeah, that IBIT, I don't know if we're going to get a chance on Bitcoin.
Just so damn.
Bitcoin gave us right to that top, but I'm not chasing this move. I'm not going to chase this like 50, 60 cents. That's a full percentage point to the downside. Going to hang, like I said, going to hang on to Intel, which is almost 2% down from when we got in and consistently bleeding.
Oh my gosh. Intel is great. $2 right now on Nvidia. And again, like, look, we screwed up on, we didn't really screw up on Tesla. It is what it is. We got out at a level that we had marked down here. But this Nvidia, 113 up to 115 top, like we nailed that trade. Tesla 277, used 280 as max pain. Come on, dog. Should have just followed again one more time. Look what Tesla's doing. Look what Tesla's doing right now, absolutely crushed. 150 handles right now on the futures. So, I mean, I think we found our niche right here as this continues to absolutely bleed. We talked about 69.50 comes into play. There it is. And then now it's over $2 now on Nvidia as the pain is real. And yeah, that Tesla, this would have been almost like the whole week, right? I wouldn't have held it all the way back in, but you know what we gave up there was an unrealized gain of quite a bit. So, but that's fine. We all exit our positions too early and too late sometimes too. So, all right. So just keep taking it out. 112.50. We just move on to the next trade. Nvidia and the TQs, man, the bell of the ball here today. And I know the chip names. We were looking at Intel, so that's a good one. But oh boy, and then Bitcoin right here is actually doing quite well, up to 84,000 right now. IBIT kind of going the other way. There. So, you know, a little bit of a dip, but it did get going. I guess it looks very similar to the market, right? We just didn't retrace all the way to the bottom. So I think relative strength here in IBIT may be something to look at as we move forward. But the market's definitely bouncing off those lows.
Apple's about to take the high.
I was going to say, okay, Apple, there's another
Apple's
name.
strong. Apple's about to take the high of the day. Don't jinx it. We want there to be some strength in the market. Look, winning on shorts is just part of a trading game, but it's more fun to go when stocks go up, and you can find some longs in there. Apple's holding on to VWAP now. There was no real... it got down to the 37 level, but that wick was really quick. It was back at 38 in the blink of an eye. So I don't think you're getting much in the 37 range. But if it can hold VWAP, this is the one stock that I liked to the long side, just because it was green when the market was looking very, very poor. So Apple, and it didn't break Friday's low. So we'll see if we can get a VWAP bounce here off Apple. You mentioned IBIT's doing particularly well, or Bitcoin's doing particularly well over VWAP, but it's 48.40 that I wanted the short area. So it kind of got there, missed it to take Intel. If we get a bounce, I might get a second shot at INTC. And you've already mentioned Nvidia, but we'll go to Adara and come back and talk about its brethren, AMD.
One name here is actually pretty strong. It is Procter & Gamble, PG. They also made subtle gains yesterday as well. So looks like PG, though, right now, this is a bit of a topping tail candle. Strong on a day where we've had a lot of mixed sentiment in the market. Procter & Gamble and this consumer space could be on watch today. Back to you.
Now Procter's good.
All right. It's probably still not. But yeah,
I dumped that a couple
yeah, I don't know. All right. So I'm just trying to cover at some of these pre-market lows right now. And we did a good job of doing that there on the futures and on Nvidia. Man. Okay. So, oh man, $6. Okay. Like, still thinking about a short on Tesla, but I'm almost wondering right now, like, remember we said try to be patient? I mean, this is exactly why you do that. Like, we wrote down Palantir on the sticky note at $83, short sell up to 85, you know, and I mean, that really came through as well. So, you know, you're getting a chance now to sort of regroup and rethink about the short because you're right back to VWAP again. So it's just like, if you don't, and I'm super glad that we had covered, like, Again, we need to do a better job of maybe putting on our board like what percentages we have left of some of these trades. But, you know, we did cover, and it's just like it's bouncing. It's bouncing at the bottom. Now we have to look for maybe the top here as well. So, you know, if you like the reload on some of this stuff, it's going to be there for the short. You know, we're still waiting to like hear more and more information on everything as far as some of these tariffs are concerned. But I'm going to go again here. So 69.50. That's where we're short right now. So let's try that again, and we'll see if we can get a little bit more of a reload into that. And then we were looking at 70 before. So if we take a 69.50 short there, we just sort of cashed out some around 68. I still think it's worth it. Still trying to play a little short today. I could see a rally back, but we have our outs and we do have risk management in place, right? So, yeah.
And that's the key.
Yeah, and that is the key, right?
Have your in, have your out. Like, there's longs to be had that have gone, that have gone already, and you can look for something that's got strength. TSM is incredibly strong right now. At least the last time I looked at it, but it's the open, so that could have changed in the last minute and a half. Apple is holding higher lows, but I'm not buying any tops. I mean, like, I want to short any lows of the day, and I don't want to buy any tops in a market like this. I want to look to see if we can bounce off VWAP. Why am I sitting there? Let's actually see it bounce off VWAP and then go. Intel has been, look, it stinks. I got to fill at that 22. It's holding under VWAP. So as the market's bouncing higher, the observation I'm trying to make here is NASDAQ higher low over VWAP, Intel for now lower high under VWAP, so that still looks weak to me. So if we get to the highs, I might look for a reload in Intel. No longs just yet. I think we can be a little bit patient, but Bitcoin's back at 85. Bitcoin's back at 85,000 again, or 84.6. So we're really close to that top. This is the place where I wanted to short, but I missed it the first time. So I needed to be a trend break if I'm going to get in. I don't want to double short the same level. Let's get into this. If we break the trend, Intel is going to be an add if we can get it. And Tesla, Tesla's nowhere near the prices that I was interested in, because it's like Intel. It's holding holding weakness under VWAP.
Here it is. We just said we're shorting 69.45s. So 40 handles right there immediately on the futures. I'm going to start to cover some more. There we go. We still have 40%. Sorry, we covered 40%. We have 60% left right now of that reload, but that's how we're trading today. There it is. Yes, sir, man. We said that we're going to be playing these futures. Sharif, this is a 70 handle move in 1 minute. We just talked about that 69.50. We just got 68.70s right there on that play. So, I mean, come on, man. If you're not having fun yet, hit the like, hit the subscribe. There it is right there one more time. Neil's into IBIT, we're into Intel. I've got the Qs and Nvidia. Let's rock and roll. What's up, Adara?
Great move here for GCT, GigaCloud Technology. This is a small cap earnings name, about a $500 million market cap. Reported last night, quite the drop here on their earnings because they missed on earnings per share, though they beat on sales. Today, though, great rally here into the open. It's also worth here for GigaCloud Technologies, almost a 19% short float. So small cap earnings play, GCT on watch. Back to you.
Haven't even looked at small caps. Hopefully there's some that are working for you, but the market's moving enough on its own regardless. So I'm into that little mean revert there on IBIT. We got to 85,000. We're about to hit. So if it gets to the pre-market top, that's about 84,000. So I'm bidding out in front of 84,000. On IBIT, that's 47.60 something. And then we still have VWAP. We're over VWAP, so we want to make sure we take something out. Intel did not really give us much of a reload, but we're just going to hang on to this bad boy. I think we'll see 5 down on this as far as I'm concerned. Tesla just lost the low of the day, so you can stick a fork in that. But as I said, wait patiently, short the pops, know what the strategy is that you're looking for an entry, as that IBIT chart is going to take a while to load in there. But now 2.5 points on Intel. Just once we break 84, we'll get our first out on IBIT, and we'll load that one up in a second. But it's a patient short the pop situation today. That's all you got to do. Just wait for it to get to your level, and you're good to go.
Oh, boy. Yeah, no wiser words have ever been said to the man by my right now, because we absolutely do exactly that and give it to you. This is 140 handles now in 2 minutes off of that top. Like we just talked about it being choppy. We talked about taking these plays. We said we're going to reload them. There it is, man. The TQs. I'm just going to get more out at these lows. This has been such a wild ride today, man. Tops, bottoms, and we're short. And this is an absolutely monstrous day. Tesla, 269. Thanks for stopping me out $10 ago.
Unbelievable.
Nvidia, unbelievable is right. Nvidia, we did not reload that, but the gift I would have kept on giving right there with Nvidia. So, I mean, boom to the downside. But honestly, man, the money for me right here, it would have been Tesla. We didn't actually wind up losing that much, but TQs right here is going to be a good trade. So we're just going to keep on watching to see if we can, you know, we'll try to get that back on Tesla. But again, I just wonder if holding on to the short, the market's down 0.7 now, and it's like these are the actual futures, so just not the TQs. We just took advantage of that dip down there. We took advantage of that. But what if we break it? We want to make sure that we do have something on board. So maybe we could put one more out at the very bottom in case it does get to that level. But for right now, we still have 25% of this position, and the lowest it's gotten is about right here. So let's put out like, maybe 5% or so of what we have left right here at the bottom of 68. Then if it breaks it, great. If not, at least we got another piece out, and we'll be happy with that kind of a play. So yeah, like just what a great opportunity there to have shorted it. Again, in midst of there hasn't been that much news this morning, which I think is what's
no news this morning.
Yeah, which is like kind of like what's creating all of this. So we'll just wait to hear some more talk, the retaliations. What is Canada thinking? What is China, Mexico, U.S. even obviously, and where that's going to last and where that's going to lie, I guess, at the end of the day. So yeah, just a little bit of an advantage there on Nvidia. This is one I'm a little nervous about, as we can see Nvidia Nvidia still almost green today, which is interesting, being down 4%.
You know what else is green?
Yeah, I assume a lot of green. Your Intel is still short, right? SMR, okay.
SMR. Well, let's go to Adara.
We got that
and to the
TQ
desk.
fill,
We
by
just
the
said
way.
there's no news. Let's go to the desk and see what Adara has to say.
Yeah.
This is not news, but I think it's worth noting Boeing's down 5% today, and it's at day's lows. I'm not seeing anything on this. We opened around 168. We're currently around 159.5. So BA extremely weak, certainly not flying today, though. Again, I could not find any story on it, but as usual, if I find anything, I will let you guys know right away. Back to you.
SMR was the name that reported that we didn't talk about. Aftermarket didn't really move a heck of a lot aftermarket, but it is up 1%, so that is worth watching over there, SMR. If it can break out, we know there's a little bit of a squeeze potential with that stock. In terms of what we are looking at, you're still holding VWAP on IBIT for now, which means it's got a bull flag and it's got a little bit of relative strength. Intel seems to want that 50 period on the daily, which is 21 quarter. If it gets anywhere near that, that's an out 100%. I'm looking for a reversion long. And SMCI, which I wanted to sit out the open because I felt it was super strong. Well, short, I wasn't looking longs. It's now got a nice higher low that got put in. Looks like it could be losing the trend as we speak. So local high 37.20. This is the opening trend range. We had to pay for locates on SMCI, but they were small enough that I don't remember like 0.00 something per share on SMCI. So if we close underneath this trend line, which is right here, I think we'll be able to get 36.70 or 80, and then give it to 37.20 on SMICI, as Adara likes to call it. Still only looking to short.
Yeah, we're starting. I'm starting to cover. I'm starting to think about, again, is that bottom? Oh, we'll cover some more Nvidia. We just did it right there at 114. It's just thinking that maybe we do want to get back up to the upside here, get a little bit of this pain back for the last couple of days. I mean, here's the triple Qs right now. I'm not going to short that top again. I actually got some more out at the bottom there of the Qs, and I'm glad that we talked about that because good. Yeah, what about a little bit of a rally back into like 498 on the Qs, 500, something like that. The 50-period moving average is at 502. Again, it's a 30-minute chart. So I'll look at basically 15, 30, and then the 1 and the 5. And so, yeah, so coming back into this area, just for a little bit of a look, I could see a bounce. I don't, I'm not long anything, as you can see. So it's not like I agree that much with that statement. But let's just be patient. Like we just went right back up to the 50-period moving average again right there. So like that could have been another short and then a complete retracement back down. I'm going to take advantage of that, get another bid out here. I just bid 33s. We might have missed that low. So yeah, like just very, very volatile right now off the jump. So I think we're doing the right thing by trying to hold on. We got out some more Nvidia. You can see there's a little bit of a shelf here at 113.50. So I'm going to put a bid at 113.60 and get out if it does come back into there. So we'll put that bid. Here it comes. Here it goes. Give me that 60. We're at 61s actually. So maybe we get that fill, maybe we don't. But yeah, a couple dollars in the money over here and just relaxing right now. I do think that there's going to be another move down and then maybe we can load up some longs. But
Tesla's
disgusting for me because regardless if you had a couple hundred shares or 50 shares or 10 shares, I took out the top. I was the top. So I've come over to the chart here, Ramin, so I can, there it is. So that was tough, right? That was tough, but we were lucky enough to stay into Nvidia and actually get back into Nvidia. We did take an L there early, get back into that one, and then of course the futures really helped us out. Oh, there you go. We just get that fill again. So yeah, so far so good. But Tesla probably going to gap fill. I agree. That's why I like the short, man. And we wrote down 280.
It could get VWAP here.
We could have done better on Tesla. So, anyways, all right, you're in SMCI. I mean, that's another great name to short, you would think.
Well, we'll see how it goes. It was a mean reversion play. So the only thing I'm looking for in Tesla is obviously it's gone lower highs here. Another one would maybe put it at VWAP, but the pre-market low here at 270 is being respected nicely. Did I save my trend? I didn't really save the trend line. I always forget to do that. But you guys can see there's the higher low. SMCI broke trend. It breaks the local high. I'm going to jump out. It is relatively strong. So this is not I'm holding it to the high of the day, which is $1 from here. No. Local high after the trend break is what we give it to. AMD was the chip name. I knew there was another one we're forgetting, but AMD's holding VWAP as well. So the only chip name I can see that's underneath VWAP and at the low of the day is actually Intel. The rest of these are actually not bad, really. Like you're holding higher lows on AMD, TSM, which is Why did the drop down hated me there? TSM is super strong, holding 3.5% to the upside. So I'm going to have a tight stop on that SMCI. And then even Intel, whoops, I don't know why I typed SMCI. Even Intel, I might just get out if it breaks trend to the upside. Because if it starts to follow the rest of these chip names, it's got a lot of room. You're talking 2% for it to get back to VWAP. I'd rather be out and reloading if it gets to VWAP than holding this back another 2% to the upside. So yeah, chip names are all over the place as far as I'm concerned. And the only one that looks really, really bad right now is INTC. Usually I'd be looking for AMD, but we've got 3 shorts. We'll see which one's going to be good for a reload. At this point, none yet, and still don't have a long that I like. I know I say it's like, oh, well, you don't have to force yourself looking for a long, but I want to find something that I'm bullish enough on that I want to take a shot if the market shows some strength. It was going to be Apple if it could hold on to VWAP. Now it's retesting the lows. But I don't see any point to get into that until it looks a little stronger.
Yeah, no. So for right now, I mean, this is what I mean. I think it's good to sit in these shorts for now until something really does change. We just got that test at the bottom again, as sort of promised. So we're, again, I'm just, I can't promise anything, but, we were looking at those lows again. So we will take advantage of that on Nvidia, take a bid. And we will also take advantage of that and take the 150 handle again on the TQs and just wait to see now if we continue to bleed to the south side. Right there. Everyone took my money on Tesla. This is now, again, $12 from the top and still making that move down. So, wow. Let's just get into something else. Nvidia, Neil, we're $5 in the money on these 2 trades. And there goes Nvidia right now into 112.60. So right back into VWAP again. Wow, wow, wow. What a day today, man. I don't even know. I love coming in here every single day with all of you guys and just making these trades. Okay, back over to the TQs quickly. Look at this drop in the futures. 250 handles, Mr. Roberts. This name is going to the downside, and we are still getting going here. Look, man, we're both all short. We've been talking about it. I do not have a long idea on here. The market's dropping. IBIT, Bitcoin, everything crypto, the chip names, the general market going dropping right now. We are cooked, as people in the chat are saying right here. This is definitely. Now, you know what? Actually, Ramin just goes, what about your heart rate?
Oh, heart
Honestly, I'm cool as a pickle right now because I'm short. But if I did look at my account, yeah, I probably may not be liking what we are seeing.
The only thing is I'm cold. I'm
cold as ice. I told you guys we were going to be Red Hulk today in the chat when we were talking about Gamma, and yeah, we're Red Hulk today. And oh boy, man, Red State Elon there took our money at 278. But I mean, I'm just glad that a lot of you, hopefully, we're talking about the same bias on this overall short. It's been really payday. We wrote down Palantir at 83. This is the one that I think hasn't fallen the way it probably should have. So anything strong, I'm going to be looking at Palantir. All right. As we just talked about what was happening now in our trading, let's go over, Ramin, and talk about what's happening now with Miss Adara.
What's happening now in this market has nothing positive. If you are long or bullish, we do have here this push to the downside yesterday all day on the S&P 500. Then we get another kind of rounded top situation here, starting with that push we got at the close yesterday. Now we're near day's lows, but trying to make our first green candle of the open session on the SPY. The NASDAQ looking pretty similar, though down slightly less than the S&P 500. So what names are on watch? We have Boeing here near day's lows. I couldn't find a catalyst on this, but this is really exemplifying just this market-wide sell-off we have going on right now. We also have names like TSM on watch. TSM was notably a little bit stronger than the rest of the market at first. Here we know yesterday the company's CEO, C.C. Wei, joined Donald Trump to announce their $100 billion additional investment in the U.S. And then last but not least here, we have TGT, one of quite a few earnings plays on watch. So Target, Okta, SMR, Best Buy among day one earnings names to keep an eye on here, guys. So pretty exciting day of trading. Lots to look out for. If I, of course, see any news, you guys will be the first people I let know. Back to you.
Well, I said Intel might go down 5% and get the 50-period moving average on the daily. I didn't think it would happen by 10 o'clock, but it just did. So Intel, I'm now out. It just bounced off the 50 period on the daily at 21.35.
Thank you, Randy.
So we took it short.
Oh boy, Neil.
22.5. We just got out at 21.4 as it continues to flush. I'm still in SMCI. Bitcoin bounced off 82.5. I covered that in front. So the short on IBIT was off the 85 level. That's still a little bit hot, but yeah, it is looking absolutely nasty. SMCI, which is the one we're still in, this is only at VWAP, and I'm looking for 35 here. So we took the mean reversion play on that. We're able to cover. IBIT gave the bounce off the pre-market lows. Intel, we had a target on Intel. It never gave me a chance to get back in at those highs. It was entirely too weak. Now we just wait for the next entries here. Obviously, the shorts worked out so far. SMCI still hasn't even gone $1 yet, only 80 cents, but that was the third one we took. So that was the last one. The others have made it to the bottom. Oh yeah, Oxy, JR Sun. I know we were talking a lot about Oxy. Remember saying let this stock settle down? Oxy's getting pummeled, man. Another 2.5%, and it is at that 45, 52-week low on Oxy. So, if it holds a low, maybe this one has a chance, but I'm staying away from this thing. I've been in it before for swing trades, but I think this is one you got to wait on. It's been egregiously weak lately, habitually.
Yeah. Good words. Okay, so the more you know.
Well, maybe.
Okay, we covered some more of Nvidia right here. I'm just getting lighter and lighter on these positions because honestly, I still think there's a chance that we could pop. I mean, it's not, I'm going to get at some more futures right here. We got a 67 fill. There we go. We just take another 70 fill. And, it is pretty volatile. I think we could put another bid down here. Let's go to 67.26 as we start to get a little lighter on this trade. It could go both ways, right, at some point. So you got to have outs. What about getting out of maybe half of what we have if we break back above 68 right now? Let's look at some more stocks. Bless you.
We need a humidifier. Sorry. It's so
we need a humidifier and an air purifier.
It's an air purifier. It gets really dusty. I apologize. I'm sneezing all the time. I know.
Yeah. So okay. All right. And a Dyson. Yeah. And a $12,000 coffee machine. We already got that one. So we don't have no problem spending money on the coffee machine. but for health, we're not.
I got puffy eyes. I'm constantly.
Forget about health. Forget about longevity of the show. Okay. No. All right. So just real quickly here. I want to look at something now. Let's check out ARM real quick here. Not much is actually hitting on the scanners because the market.
Because everything's.
There's Randy.
Get up, Randy.
What are we doing? Okay, so back to the market. All right, so ARM right now, get it, Randy, by the way. So ARM right now down. Actually, so this was, you know what? I don't like it. It's not enough liquidity right there for that. Tesla, you can really.
ARM has no liquidity. 50 cent spread on ARM.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Is that right?
All right, so Nvidia. Right now we're let's just do this for Roseanne and for anybody that's short. We're $3 in the money now. This was a level that we had posted up on Nvidia that we liked, the 115. We got stopped at, we got back in, and now obviously it's just going to be that it is what we think it is. Oh wow, we did look at that. Can you take a look at that? Right there, that came right in. So there we go. We get another fill on the futures just by simply putting bids out there, man. This is what you get. Could you take a look at that? All right, Palantir 81. What about that? That could be a good long. Bouncing off the 200. I'm going to try it just in case we do get a little bit of a rally back. Let's try a little bit here with Palantir. We'll just punch in 1 unit. I'm comfortable, obviously, with that. We'll buy another unit down here at 81 and change. And then we'll just I'll give it to 80.50, these lows. Only because if we bounce, and it's going to be, look, catching these falling knives might not be the right story there. That's $80.42. I think this is well worth it. You can see our average price on Palantir's 20s. So if you're nervous, you don't like it, get out now for 10 cents. But let's just wait to see what winds up happening. Down to $80.40 right now on Palantir. Everything else is cranking lower, man. This one might not work. Do you want to say something before we go over?
I think we might be going to Adara in a second. I heard something about tariffs. Adara.
Yes, you did, Neil. What you might have heard is we have comments here from Claudia Sheinbaum, that is the president of Mexico, and she said that legal action might be taken in response to U.S. tariffs. So market almost at new day's lows here. This is the NASDAQ. As Claudia Sheinbaum, president of Mexico, says that legal action might be taken in response to U.S. tariffs. Of course, we have an announcement from President Trump about tariffs scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern. So it'll actually be after market hours, but we'll have to wait until then. Regardless, tariffs going to be on watch all day. If I see anything related to this, I, of course, will let you know. And back to you.
Okay.
Well, Apple's green again. So there's that. That's at least good. So shout out to Apple launching the, what was the new thing? It was a new iPad?
Mac. Air MacBook.
Air MacBook. Okay.
MacBook Air.
Well, there wasn't a new, okay, never, it doesn't really matter.
Air MacBook, I say.
But it held the low. You know what? If you hold the low, if you don't break the low, there's only one place to go, which is up.
Nvidia is like...
So as far as I'm concerned, this it's trying to confirm the bottom. I'd love to see it hold VWAP for a higher low because either you get the low of the day or you get a higher low. It has yet to put in a clean one. This is nasty on the way up in the opening rush, all these crazy wicks. Hopefully we get something a little bit more clean before it breaks out the absolute top. SMCI, here, I want to keep staying on Apple.
See if we can rally a bit.
SMCI basically is now holding on to VWAP right at this $36 level. But the only long I'm liking right now is
Palantir, you
going to be
son of a
Apple
gun.
off of this 238 VWAP. We're out of Intel. Nothing new on that one. It's still at that same low of the day, down 5%. That stock is in a world of hurt. All that exuberance gone.
Yeah, today people are getting hurt
good news 2 days ago.
really bad right now. All right, so, oh man, so Palantir came back in. We were actually in the money there on Palantir. We bought the 80/50s as we talked about. We're going to watch out for 80 breaking right now, but it just ripped. I mean, it did actually rip, actually. We got long at 80/50. It went back up to 81s flat there, giving us, I just took some out because it was at 81. I could take it out right now for flat again, but let's see if Palantir and the futures do want to get back to the upside. Of course, we take advantage of Nvidia being all the way down here. Let's do it one more time. Get out a little bit of a piece here in the 70s. And then the futures, man, I mean, we got a 67 fill. That's a 250 handle winner right there on the futures. So even if you're playing with minimal shares, this is just a monster trade right there for the futures. So we're going to watch out for that. All right, so here comes Palantir. We'll reload what we got out down here, maybe like in the 30s. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for a little bit higher. If we can get VWAP, I do have something out in the teens here of 81. So maybe we could take out a little bit more pressure. But, you know, I do think there is a chance. But look at the futures, man. 250 handles in the money right there. $3.50 in the money on Nvidia as we continue to go lower. So we probably should not have tempted fate with that Palantir. But honestly, I still have a very strong throw-up feeling from Tesla, so I need to sort of get that out of there and figure it all out. But yeah, JP Morgan, people want to look at some of these bank names as well. 250 broke. Wow, that's pretty good. Like, you don't see these kind of days for JP Morgan there. So obviously a lot of worry about the U.S. economy and what that might mean for consumers, because honestly, if Ontario does shut off power and power generation and all that, it's going to get more expensive, right? So we're going to have to wait to see if something does happen there. As Dougie Ford yesterday was all of that's the Ontario Premier was like, we'll cut power to upstate New York and all that stuff. I hate that kind of talk, but if that happens,
it's nonsensical talk.
In Alberta, well, I think he'll do it. In Alberta, though, also energy going to be a big focus there. And, you know, in the Midwest, you're going to see like gas prices go up significantly if that happens. And the same thing, look, the same threat is for us too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we shouldn't be talking all
these
I hate all this lose-lose situational stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about. The XLF just lost a 50-period moving average today. I like the XLF. So, you know, it's not there just yet, but sometime this month, I'm buying XLF, or if it gets there fast enough, the 200-period moving average is one I like this year. So I'm DCAing into this. Continuing to, you've got to be kidding me. And Intel's absolutely bleeding. But one note, Apple did try, well, I should say, did try to, oh, there it is.
There goes Palantir.
Now it's holding the 38 level. So you actually are finally making a reasonable higher low here in Apple off of this 238 level. It's starting to look pretty good. So let's see if we can't get it. It's confirmed that we like this VWAP. The market is just recovered from the lows. The NASDAQ anyways. The ES is not, but the NASDAQ has. So the NASDAQ's recovered from the lows. ES is bleeding because it's an everything tank. At least you saw with financials to the downside. But I think the NASDAQ might lead the way here because things like Apple are showing some strength.
Palantir is in the building. All right, man. Good lows. We just came up to VWAP, so we do empty the clip a little bit there. We still have 65% left. I'm going to take another offer right there at 30. So there it goes to the upside. Yes, sir. Okay. What a battle back. We don't even need to worry. I mean, look, if we had Tesla, then we just shut the doors now. But we did get out of that, and unfortunately, we got eaten up up there. But you know, great rebound day for us here on not on the market. The market's clearly not really rebounding, but a good sort of way to battle back there. Get into this name. I mean, again, we just got some more out. So let's wait to see what happens there with Palantir. In a little bit of a nervous thing there. We got some 20s and we got some 40s out. Just again, nervous that the market may base out there. And when we're going to look at what we see here on the triple Qs, just from a daily chart, I'm only looking at the NASDAQ now because I'm trading the TQs, and obviously I'm in Nvidia as well, and Palantir, so we are concerned. But we're right at that 200 period, so there is a chance that you could get that relief rally back upside a little bit there. This is just a daily chart, so I don't know if it goes all the way back to 510. You know, where we were yesterday, that would be pretty nice. I mean, Tesla, that would mean Tesla like back up to 300 has that potential there. Nvidia back to 118 has that potential if that does happen. So let's just start to ease out of these positions. So just to let you guys know, we have under 5% left of these positions. I actually have way less than that on Nvidia because most of my Nvidia trades, 112.50 were out. And then when we got $1 lower than that down to the 200 period, you know, we emptied out a little bit more. So we have about 5 to 7% left of these shorts. And then about half, a little less than half, about half right now of Palantir, which is faded right back into flat for us. So again, a couple good outs at the top side there, but you know, we talked about it before, Neil, and I know that you got in and out. It's like fade pops, maybe try to look for longs again.
Well, the last one, you know, the early shorts are better, obviously, but the last one we got into, SMCI, just bounced clean off, come to the chart for a second, just bounced clean off of VWAP here, which is also prior day low. So it just supported the prior day low and came back up. So I trailed out of it at break even, or just, I mean, it's slightly underneath break even, but you just call it break even on SMCI. This is starting to look strong. Remember, SMCI was down 14, 15% yesterday, so it's SSR. I don't want to get absolutely robbed, but if we lose VWAP, I can get back into this one for sure. I keep thinking Intel is going to bounce and I can fade the bounce. It's not going up. It just continues now holding the lows. No matter how the market bounces, this one is just not giving us an entry point that I'm liking back in. And I can look now at AMD, which just lost VWAP. So if I'm not getting a pop on Intel, then AMD underneath VWAP. Finally, for the first time here today, it's consolidating under VWAP. That's 97 change.
We are really
as long as we can get something in there, we're going to drop that short on. So I mean, so far so good. You can't have really gone wrong today. To the south side, as long as you're patient. It's about getting that second salvo now. And I'm switching to AMD because it's giving me the entry, whereas Intel refuses to pop upside. Adara.
Yeah.
More tariff-related comments coming from President Donald Trump on Truth Social. He just posted here, quote, if companies move to the United States, there are no tariffs, 3 exclamation points. I guess this is earlier today, actually came in at 8:13 a.m., at least in maybe different time zones, but it's being circulated really heavily right now. So just to put this out there, looks like Donald Trump, and again, the 8:13 a.m. might be a different time zone, posted that if companies move to the United States, there are no tariffs. So more tariff talk here coming from Trump on social media. Again, we're expecting an announcement from him scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern tonight. Back to you.
All right.
Will they move?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Mary Barra was talking about that. And somebody else moved. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was just GM. Oh, no, it was Honda moved their Civic plant from here, Canada, over into Michigan. I think that's what it was, or Indiana or something there for Honda. Okay, so Palantir loses 80, we get out. We actually got a 92 fill. So like I was saying, man, I mean, it's like, okay, we'll have to wait now to see if we can catch another long. I mean, the longs, we had worried about it. We talked about when we put on Palantir that it was going to be, if the market had rebounded, we really liked the chance there. And it did get going just before dropping again. So stay out of everything right now. Nvidia, unfortunately, is now... I say it, but it's $1, $2, $3, $4 now in the money. Tesla's probably about hugely downside. Yeah, 264, looking to break lower on Tesla as well. So that is just getting pretty disgusting. I'm going to take another bid right now, again, on Nvidia. If you've rocked with me and stayed short, congratulations, man. I mean, it's been, we don't have many shares left, but it's been a ride. And I hope I've been doing a decent job of trying to guide through some of these positions and where we're getting out and whatnot. So I'm just going to keep getting out on like every little push down. So this is another one. So we're just getting into 66, 60s again. So I just put a bid there at 64. Hopefully we flush and there it is and get that fill. So we just got it. So every little bit of a push down here, we're going to start to cover because I don't know when the news is going to switch, and it may not right now. So yeah, it's kind of scary because the market really is coming in right now. And a lot of people's, I guess, you know what I want to check out too is Robinhood. 40, yeah, wow. Like if JP Morgan's down, you mentioned SoFi earlier, there's another 10 points on Robinhood. Like 10% more downside right there on Robinhood today. Like that's crazy. Like we were just at what, 65? Yeah, okay, good memory there. So 66 to 42.
We are now about $1.30 away on the Qs.
Or $8
from 10% from the highs.
Yeah.
So you'll be 10% from the highs at approximately 847 on the Qs. So anyone that's looking for that correction territory, and it's implicitly, it's like one of those implicit support levels. It just doesn't mean anything, but because it's psychological, it might matter. If it happens to matter to you, I'm going to be looking for any strong stock that I like a bounce, and at 487 on the NASDAQ, that's what I'm going to try to do. It's probably not going to be Intel, I can tell you that much. That's now through 21. Cannot believe we could see 20 again on that stock. It's completely insane. Try to grab that VWAP on AMD. It's still continuing to tank, but that SMCI, like the one that, it worked, but it's still holding VWAP. This is a flat bottom break at yesterday's low and 35.75. Or maybe 70 will give it right underneath there. So I'm going to jump back in this because the other thing that would be is, I like trend reversions. That's breaking this trend from the pre-market on SMCI. So that's the next trade for me to the south side, unless something drastically changes. It'll be SMCI trend break, but the trend is from pre-market lows to that opening range and now this local bottom here. I'm going to look for that short and patiently wait for it to come in. Like this is one of those mornings. I'm not shorting anything at lows of the day here, so I'm gonna have to wait for someone to play a little bit of a catch-up game or find some strength where there hasn't been much of any. But I'm not gonna throw away profit chasing moves at the low of the day.
All right, so yeah, I don't want to chase any of these moves, but I do want to cover a little bit more. Nvidia just down to 110 again, so $5 now in the money on this name. We're $9 in total right now, including the TQs, which is 350 handles, twice reloaded there, once, twice. So this continues to go down. I do want to start to cover in case there is a bounce at 110. So we're very, very light now, but wow. Just complete destruction now here. Randy called 270 as the bottom for Tesla. What does 260 look like? We're right here right now, Randy, at 260. So Tesla down another 8%. There is no bottom. That's the answer here.
Well, not today there isn't.
No, there's no bottom ever because, the bottom is zero. I don't think we're getting there, right? But like, where do we look? There's 200. There's 180. Like you could get down to those levels, man, right here as Tesla doesn't have any good news to report anytime soon. It doesn't look like,
I got to buy zone.
180.
You should know what price I'm putting my bid in at today, in the middle of the day.
242 probably.
$222.20.
I used the 42 there. I guess that was a little.
Shout out to Will the Thrill Clark, an absolute gamer. He played the game hard like he'd want to. And the reason they call him Will the Thrill?
Yes, why?
He hit a home run on, I believe it was his first game in college.
Right, okay.
He hit a home run on his first pro at bat in the minor leagues, and he hit a home run in his first swing in Major League Baseball off of Nolan Ryan.
That sounds thrilling.
That dude was, like, when they talk about clutch, if he stayed healthy, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. But anyway, it doesn't really matter.
He's not in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not a Hall of Famer. He had too many injuries.
Okay, not enough numbers over there.
No, but for Tesla, I just simply mean, like, now that you're breaking down, I'm only stink bidding that at ridiculous levels.
Yeah.
So I'll probably throw that in there. I'm going to probably
throw
an
Tesla right now,
XLF bid as well. And Apple. Before we go to the small cap recap, outside of SMCI breaking trend, if Apple hits the triple bottom, 1, 2, and yesterday's low, that'll be a place I'm going to look for a bounce. Apple only down 0.1% in all of this mess. Apple's not bad, man.
I'm long.
Especially if it can hold VWAP, this works too.
long Tesla as we go over to Adara. $1 in the money. $1 in the money. What am I even doing? Why am I even talking about this and not getting out? Okay, let's go over to Tesla. Let's go over to Tesla. What's up, Adara? Let's go over to Adara right there. There we go. We take that $1 right there. Dollar Club member, part of Tesla. So, all right, let's see if we can get back to the upside there. We took out 10%.
Let's take a look here at the IWM, which I want to point out, relative volume 3.2. So significant volume in this name. We know this is pretty rate sensitive, and we know that these tariffs, I guess, are a little bit of a concern for the market. So IWM selling off a bit more aggressively near day's lows, down roughly 2.5%. But one thing I do want to point out here for IWM as well is, as mentioned, rate sensitive. I was seeing apparently now traders are pricing in a potential rate cut in May, which would be a good look for IWM if that were to come to pass, because it is a little bit more sensitive to these rates. CYCU here on watch. This is a penny stock, about 85 cents there, reporting that the availability of its ARCs platform targeted for corporate sectors. So CYCU with the company announcement to the upside, Sycurion. This one's not a small cap, but there weren't that many small cap runners today, and this one was running quite a lot. So I did want to shine some light here on Walgreens Boots Alliance. With a 9.5% short float, trading higher here after the Wall Street Journal reported that the company is nearing a go-private deal with Sycamore Partners. This deal's been in talks since at least early December 2024, but we're getting more information on it as it apparently nears a close. So WBA on watch, nice push here. And last but not least, MASS. This is a small cap earnings play up about 60%. MASS company's called 908 Devices. Smaller than expected loss for share for this name for its earnings. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. Back to the guys.
Well, just for one quick thing on Walgreens, the rumored price is very, very close to where it is trading right now. Maybe another 4 or 5% to the upside, based on what all the merger arb people are saying. So that might not be as exciting of a buy as it might normally be, unfortunately, for that. Yeah, the market's still on trend to the downside. The ES is absolutely bleeding. We didn't get to that number 47 yet. But as I said, the next two trades for me are holding VWAP Apple or low of the day, and then the trend break on SMCI, which is more of a finger on the trigger trade because it's got this trend the whole way, and it's just rubbing the bottom of the trend line. Once it breaks, we're punching short.
All right, so we were just almost $3 in the money on this retracement here for Tesla, but the thing about it is we just stopped at 264.50 there to the upside. I was waiting at 264.90, so let me put an offer. I'll cancel that. We'll go over to 264.50. We'll cancel all 264.90, get a piece out if it can come back up into there. Again, we were just trying to play that dip buy, so we did get some out there at for more than $1, 263.50, and then we did get 264-ish, something like that, which we rate here right now, so it's obviously a believable trade, and we're just going to wait now. Nvidia broke, or did it break 110? No, so that we got that 110.25 area. I guess the net keeps changing because I have this Tesla. So I have way more shares on Tesla than I do anything else now because this is a brand new position. We have 2 units. We talked about getting one, then getting another ahead of 260 again. We tried this, basically the same play on Palantir, and it didn't work out, where we tried the long to see if we could catch it because we thought that there was going to be some nice upside in this, and then now Palantir's down 5%. So, not like we can't completely turn around here on Tesla. And we know the rhetoric is short. We wrote down Catalyst short, right? I mean, it's not, we're kind of going against it now, but you're down another 7%. I mean, it was already, wasn't Tesla SSR? No, it was Nvidia that was SSR. So, you could go down 10% today on Tesla. I mean, yesterday we did it on Nvidia. We're doing it again. We're not doing it again on Nvidia today, though, but we were down, probably another 3 or 4% at one point there today.
Intel's going to go SSR.
Oh, Intel. Okay. So
it's already down 8%. It's going SSR.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, is Intel at 21 yet? It's, yeah, okay.
21.
Well, that's right where it's at now. This could be a long. I mean, I hate recommending longs.
No, I keep looking for a reversion.
There we go. We got Tesla.
This is looking bad, man.
We got the $2. Anyways, yeah. What ideas are you looking at? Because we're basically out of Nvidia. All right, we have less than 2% left, and on the TQs, we still have about that 2 or 3%. So we did get another fill there. I want to put another bid down at 66, but at the end of the day, I really like this Tesla trade, so I'm just going to watch out to see where this goes. Tesla now $3 in the money. And again, we just went over to Adara, and I was like, I talked about we were long, we got long, and we talked about the long. And we're long. So there it goes, man. I hope that you guys can have this one in your pocket as well. We got stopped out early on Tesla on the short. Let's see if we can get a little bit of, not revenge or anything like that, but we are getting it. Up to 266. Okay, I might take some out here. Up to 266. Let's put one offer at 70. If we get that, Phil, man, that's $3.70. We'll take it. So here it goes, man. Nice little retracement move there for Tesla. We're in the game. We're always in the game over here. Let's see if we can make that happen. Let's go. There it is. Yes, Neil. Holy man, it's a face slapper right now. Now we're holding more than $10 in the money on these three positions. So there it goes, man. It's a nice move up there for Tesla. Good out for us. We're out of half now of this trade. So, woo, a little bit of a move back there for Tesla. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the long now. I don't know.
Well, we just broke trend in the other direction on Intel. So, look, SMCI doesn't break the trend down because the market just bounced up. But Intel just broke this long trend all morning since the open. It's been trending to the downside. The prior bar close is 94, something like that. Crazy scaling. It broke this bar high, so there's your consolidation. There's your break. It's about at 2108. I got slipped to 12s, and we'll see how far Intel wants to at least try to go here. It's obviously a dog of a stock today, but we like mean reversion trades, and that works in either direction ultimately. So you can mean revert a falling knife like this to the upside. If we get to VWAP, that's an obvious out. SMCI didn't happen. Apple still has a chance to give me the fill off of VWAP, but it's not looking like it really wants to. So Intel, the only thing that we're going to be in, at least for now. I just saw someone say dead cat bounce. Yeah.
That's some dead cats.
When you have moves like this, you're going to get dead cat bounces in the market, no questions asked. So that's why I like that reversion play. Or just find something that was strong the whole way. That's the two places to go. Like Apple's holding higher lows. Wish we'd gotten into that, but it happened to be Intel. SMCI is now breaking out the top. This might just be a squeeze on SMCI. But I don't want to take a breakout today. Can't bring myself to. I was waiting to short this if it broke the trend. It held the trend and is now $1 from that top, which just tells me I'm going to like the trend break even more. If that's the way it's running away from the trend line, if it ever breaks it, then I got to go short this. It's an all-day trend from 8 a.m. lows on SMCI. Can't remember the last time I saw one that actually held up like this. So I'm still going to short it when it breaks the trend. I don't care how strong it is because that's just way too juicy. Apple will look for the entry. IBIT is starting to look like it could give us another shot here. Why? Because that market bounce might put us into VWAP here on IBIT. So we had one shot, 48 to 47 on IBIT, which was roughly, it's like 84 something to 82 something. We'll look for a pullback into VWAP here as, oddly enough, it's time for the crypto update.
Let's get that.
That wasn't even on purpose. Let's go to Adara.
Nice planning, Neil.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
We're going to start here with an update from the SEC. Now, of course, yesterday and earlier today as well, there's been a lot of talk about Donald Trump's crypto reserve announcement, but that's not the only crypto catalyst right now because the SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce, who's part of course, of the overall SEC organization, and she's been working on this crypto task force. Well, she's announced the task force. Here are all the members of the task force. Chief of Staff here, Richard Gabbert. I looked into him. I couldn't find anything right away with regards to his stance on crypto, but I'm going to be doing more research on these names throughout the day. And if I find anything of note amongst this group, I will let you know, because I think it's important, especially for people involved in crypto, to know which individuals are going to be part of this task force. We know the SEC has historically been a little bit hard, more than a little bit hard on crypto, with a lot of, as of right now, a lot of the cases that were started in the old SEC now being abandoned. The other thing I want to note as well is the first meeting of this task force is scheduled for March 21st, 2025. So in a couple weeks now, I guess we'll find out a little bit more about this task force and its aims. Here's Bitcoin, which is basically at day's lows. This move yesterday, as Sharif mentioned earlier, we gave up basically all of Sunday's gains. Now we're actually getting into these lows from Wednesday, though Friday's lows from that sell-off are still pretty far away. So BTC is still certainly weak, but what about these other crypto names? BTC down about 9%, Ethereum down about 10%, Ethereum barely holding on to 2,000 here, about 2060. XRP 10% drop, BNB 4%, Solana 14%. So any gains that we had yesterday are being, much like we saw with Bitcoin, largely obliterated today, guys. Cardano and Doge especially getting hit hard. Back to you.
Duration, $5 now in the money on Tesla, so that's a good little long there. Yeah, so there it goes, man. I hope some of you are part of this trade again. Like we talked about, you know, taking that Palantir, trying to run that thing back up to the upside, but it looks like it's going to be Tesla. And yeah, I mean, again, we have the low, like this is the low of the day, right? So we have it. We're long here. Let's just see if it can hold back up. I mean, we don't have, you know, we've got some good winners today for sure. It's just been, you know, patient again, you know, like the TQ is going to be my biggest name, and then Nvidia, and then we're going to claw back on Tesla, but we had a lot of decent amount of shares. We had more shares on this trade than we did on this trade. So, you know, we're just being honest with you guys and say that, you know, we're not, even with this move, I'm not going to be positive on Tesla, but I don't know. I'm going to wait. I'm going to see if we can get some VWAP action up there. I do have another offer at 268, which has been, or looks like to be the top right there. So if we can get something off that, then great. So we'll do that offer again up there. 267.90 is actually where I'm waiting on that one. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. We're out of more than half. We're out of about 60% of this trade right now, and actually debating getting one more piece here, especially if we do decide to come back in and then just hold that last little bit. But, you know, there is obviously How to Trade with Joe. And I mean, that's going to be coming up very, very soon in just 27 minutes. So thank you, Ramin, for reminding everybody.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's very key.
And yeah, so again, I think Sharif's doing about 400 or 500 push-ups in the back. Oh, there we go. So they made a fat finger. So there it is right there. They do have more buttons.
That is 100% true. I have, like, if you look at that board over there, like it is.
It's a nice one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit absurd.
Cockpit.
You know, it's like the old Enterprise or something like that. If you watch like the old Star Trek.
Yes, of course.
Like the James Kirk old school, where it just none of the buttons could possibly make any sense, and no one in the future would.
They can show it. They have a camera over there.
Well, they do have a camera.
There it is.
Yeah, it's like, really?
Yeah.
Can't remember all that.
There you go. Hey, we're over here. There we go.
I could barely play Minecraft on my daughter's Switch, trying to figure all that stuff out.
There you go. Ramin's had enough of that.
They didn't have so many buttons when I was a gamer. Just a couple of things here. Apple broke up the high. Yeah. So obviously VWAP is not going to be a thing on Apple. This one's super strong. Like the NASDAQ is down 1.2%. Apple is taking out the high of the day. So new plan.
What?
Now that it's got, there's your higher low, there's your higher low, there's your higher low. It's got a trend. Buy in front of the trend line. They use the trend line in the other direction. Instead of waiting for it to break, try to use it to buy a strong stock. So this is a 3-minute chart. I'm just connecting that open to that open to that open if you're following along here. So if it holds this trend line on a little bit of a dip back in, we can see if we can buy the dip. I am in Intel on a mean revert, but why revert something from the lows if you can join a trend on something that is strong? So we're into it. If it loses this prior bar close, we'll just get out. But I'm getting out in front of VWAP and Intel because I think I'll be trying to reload this short at VWAP if it gets there. So 2 VWAP to long, try to short it on the reversion back in. I keep looking over because I know Sean was talking about ARM and you looked at it and the spread was not good. It's pretty weak as well, but every time I pull back, the spread's not closing up. Like liquidity is not coming into this stock. It might not be as tradable as it used to be. And that's sort of the problem. Usually I like this one on a day like today. I'm going to stay away from it. We'll focus on Apple and Intel. Maybe we'll be able to get that SMCI break of trend, but it is super strong right now. SMCI, 3% to the upside. Didn't see that one coming. I can tell you that much.
We're going to try to get... yeah, it is weird because Nvidia still, yes, still to the downside. As well. We'll wait to see if we can get some 267s on Tesla right now. But hey, look, this is the thing. Scan that QR code. We talk about this all the time. We're able to twist these signals arm enough to give us and you guys 1 free month. So if you are interested in the best charting software around, it's what I use. It's what we back test. We sit here, you know, OB uses it after hours. We sit there and we download all the data coming from eSignal. So first month free, just it's worth it. All these scanners, everything to take advantage of it. Playback, it has tick replay. Like you just play back the day. Where did you go wrong? Why didn't I get out there? Why did I get in here? So on and so forth. Imbalance data also available with eSignal as well. So back test, put your level up with e-signal. I just think that if you're sitting here every day and wondering like, all right, we've seen this before, you know, get in there, start to use that screener, look for certain things to hit, and just go for it. And I would. I mean, again, we felt lucky to be able to get that for you on e-signal. They don't normally do that, so take advantage of that opportunity today with e-signal. And again, part of the other good thing where we have breaking news with Adara, but it's also completely, with what's happening in the market right now, it's completely entitlement based. So you can get oil futures, energy, Forex, all of that. All right, Adara, thanks for your patience. What's up?
Intel is on watch here. Intel's certainly not up in the day. Down, actually trying to hold on right now to this $21 level. But we have Ming-Chi Kuo, noted Apple supply chain analyst, who's lately been talking about a lot of other companies. Ming-Chi Kuo just shared this post saying that Intel's Panther Lake production is delayed, which is an unfavorable look for their sales for the first half of fiscal 2025. They said, though, that patience will be key to the foundry business. So Ming-Chi Kuo here with what seems like a bit of a cautious note on INTC, specifically with regards to its Panther Lake production, guys. Back to you.
Every day.
Yeah, I mean, duh. Everyone knew Panther Lake was going to be delayed.
Oh, obviously. So, look, I had a stop on Intel right on. Come to my chart for a second. Had a stop under Intel right under this line that I drew. So on that piece of news, we had just gotten. I know sometimes they're useful to draw a line in there and keep it.
Yeah, for sure.
So we just had a bounce up 10 cents, and then it came back underneath and lost that 10 cents. On that headline, that's not a good headline, so I'm not going to jump back in the trade. It's a short that we liked better anyways. And, yeah, I mean, SMCI is probably going to break the trend before that happens anyway. So SMCI, trend since pre-market. This breaks, I'm going short. Intel, whatever, Panther this, Panther that. I'm going to jump out of that trade. We might not get another opportunity at a great price to short Intel unless we get a big pop. But there's other names out there that we can work into. SMCI is patiently waiting for this one to give us the trade. If it doesn't happen yet, then we don't have to rush into it. I do want to go back over to Apple because Apple is showing some real signs of strength. I guess I didn't hit save. It's got a couple of higher lows in here. If it can manage to bounce off the top of its trend, I didn't draw it that well, but you get the idea. If it loses 238, like 3/4, then I think this is headed into VWAP. If I show any signs of a bounce here, I'm going to try to go into the long. Something like this, something like that. Or you get a couple of bars, or at least one bar, and then a reversal on the 3-minute here for Apple. Up into a down market.
There we go.
That's what I like to see, at least for now.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, just on that, you know, making sure to cover again. So we were actually waiting here for this dip down on the TQs there. We didn't get it. So I put another bid at 67 and was able to get that. So we're starting to get real light now on everything. I do want to, it's too bad. Like, we got it out the 50 period. We were waiting for 268, and we got probably a little bit too greedy. So here comes Tesla right back in again, a bunch of outs. So we'll hold on to this one. About, like I said, we got it about 60%. We have about 40% left, so it could definitely still turn on us right down here right now. So I'm going to put an offer like 265.50 to get out of another piece. Maybe we can get a bump up there and somehow grab that, but like we have to try to respect that 50 period moving average. It was in play there right off the open base. I mean, that's 945. Then it played again right there, but you don't know it's going to play until after the fact. So, but again, that's why we get out, right? So out again right there at 265 or so, and then again at 267. Out, and then now we have to wait. So I'm still going to play the long off the bottom, just thinking that, hey, man, we're at the 50 period as well on the futures. We just covered a little bit on the futures as well. That looks like that might have been a good out for us, so we'll wait for that. And then Nvidia bounced nicely off 110. We almost pushed the button there at 110 to go long, but maybe we should have, but we did cover it anyway, so that seems to have been a decent play for us right there downside. So if there's any other names, like what about Amara here as Bitcoin moving around down to 83,000 now? So wow, this continues. Once it loads up, this continues. Oh, actually, it's only down 2%. We looked at this yesterday and said that we kind of liked that I think it was, okay, we did get that move upside on Tesla. So good out there. I mean, all right, just quickly. So we did get that out there on Tesla up to 266. So look at that. Take advantage of the move up by getting out. Take advantage of the move down by getting out. So that was good, man. We actually made good amounts there because we got filled short out of our short there on the TQs and save ourselves 40 handles. And then we also take advantage of that bump up and get another piece out on Tesla there. So that actually worked out quite nice right there for us. So finally, a little idea there working out. So, all right, now we'll wait. My next out is still at 267. If we can get that, great. We're only $1 away, man. Things looking up over here. Let's go find out what's going on with the DARA as we still on tariff watch. And this is what, sector recap or?
Sector watch.
Sector watch, perfect. All right, what's up?
Things might be looking up, but you would not necessarily know it by looking at the sector board because finance, bright red here. JPM, BRKB, we've got Bank of America, Wells Fargo, American Express, all sharply to the downside. Retail trade here, pretty rough look as well with Amazon leading this group lower. Commercial services weak. Consumer durables really weak here. Tesla leading them to the downside. Producer manufacturing, consumer services with the notable exception of McDonald's really weak here as well. Energy minerals down. Industrials down. Now, in terms of strength, we've got a couple green names here in consumer non-durables, notably PG. I mentioned this one off the open, but they've been incredibly strong on the day with no catalyst that I could find. Health technology, we have some bright spots as well. Amgen and AbbVie both to the upside. Now let's talk tech because this technology services sector really weak. Google holding down the fort nicely, but Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, Netflix, all red. Then you have electronic technology, Apple roughly flat. Of course, they have their new Air announcements with the iPad and its new AI chip, but Nvidia, Broadcom here, really weak. So it's a pretty mixed picture. Generally, though, a lot of major components will be red. Back to you.
Yeah.
Well, I remember someone saying healthcare was going to be good. Mr. Nas was liking the healthcare sector. J&J having a good day. Merck having a good day.
He also loved finance.
Merck is a very ugly stock, by the way. That's maybe not the one I would pick in the healthcare sector. If you think Pfizer's bad, have a look at the chart of Merck. The obvious, and whatever, I'll say it anyways. Merck getting merked is the obvious pun to be put in there. So Apple's trying again to hold the trend. It just wicked underneath. If this bar can close above, then it's long to here and simultaneously, so no need to get off the chart. Like SMCI is absolutely riding this trend line. It's either breaking out the top or it's breaking this trend on SMCI. Whichever one happens, I'm favoring the trend break short because I think it's been a short day. So that's the play I'm looking for next. And it's just about being patient and waiting to get this. If it's held the trend this long, I don't want to miss my shot of it breaking that trend line here on SMCI, nor do I want to miss this close, hopefully this bar above this 39 on Apple. Up 0.5%. This market it's off the lows pretty nicely. If it is going to do any kind of a stronger recovery than we already have, it's probably going to take a name like Apple making a move to that 240 level, which it very much could do.
All right. Let's see if coulda, woulda, shoulda matters here to Tesla because right now we're $5. It's trying to get right back. We got some outs there at 266. Here it goes, 267. That was sort of the target that we had before. We stay really patient with it, man. We're still in 3 trades over here. I just put an offer at 269.50. I want to ride this, see if we can get it back up here. We've just taken some out, so we're getting lighter on the position now. Unfortunately, we've traded, again, not thousands of shares, but hundreds of them on Tesla. And I'm not sure how much we have left as a percentage, but I would say probably about 25% left maybe of actually, I can just look back and figure it out, but about 25% left of this position. So here we go, man. Here it goes, man. Now, $5.25 now in the money on this Tesla trade. So here it goes, $5.50. Can we hear $6? Let's see if we could just break back above this 268 as we do get this long back in right there. So it is starting to go right now. Tesla, again, monster trade over here on that name. Let's see if it wants to go continuous going here, back up to see if we can get back to where we got stopped out. No, that'd be amazing if we got back up to there. So we'll play for that and wait. Nvidia, again, very, very small piece. We will try 115 again for Nvidia. I like that level. It held it. We'll sit there short if we can get that. And we just got out of the queues, and I think we'll probably do that again if we do fall back in. I'm going to put a bid down here. We're less than 2% left on that one. Let me check out Alex Karp & Company and see what really like this name, man. To get $3 back on an $80 name, that's pretty good right there for that move. So I do think that Palantir is something here. And that could be a good dip buy opportunity if we do get back into 79.50. I know that's $2 away, but the futures are still, they're not too far away from their low, man. I mean, you're up about 80 handles from that bottom, and we're just like into some retracement levels again. So if we break below right here, it could be not game over, but you could retest again back to those lows if we don't hold, right? So that could be another worry spot there, which is why we're starting to get out more Tesla. It just looks like maybe 268. We just want to get out at 268. Let me put an offer there. I got to go. I'm gonna hit the pool a little bit there, but 268. We'll see if we get out. We'll still offer for our 270, and then we'll just work on it from there. So, yeah, man, Intel got destroyed today, right? To the downside.
Getting destroyed.
Oh, you're in 3 positions. Okay, why don't we discuss?
Well, two of them just came in. Well, two of them just came in, and we mentioned Apple, but SMCI just broke that trend line. That one we've talked about, but AMD got to VWAP, and I didn't really. So remember, I was like, yeah, AMD. I want to short this one if it gets back to VWAP. So I had the offer out there, and didn't go over it, but I almost forgot about it. AMD. It stinks, but it doesn't stink as much as Intel. But we're short underneath 97. That higher low is going to be the out, which is like 97.25-ish on AMD. Apple, which we had talked about holding on to the trend line, it did close above, but it just rejected at 239.5. So we're able to grab that move up about 40 pennies, but now it's going to break trend.
Here we go.
So you break the trend, and I'm jumping out of this one. I'm just underneath 39 even. I don't like to put, it's not at 99, but it's, whatever. It's close enough to the even dollar, but not at the exact even dollar. So we just got into the trend reverse on that SMCI to the short side, and AMD off of VWAP. We're in dip buy on Apple, and those are the new ones. Intel also, look, Intel's going to be on radar all day long. If it ever pops into VWAP, I will look for a short entry on Intel, but it's only now bouncing pennies away from its low, still down 7.5%. I don't want to give up on trading it, but as I said, I'm not shorting the bottoms, and I'm only taking trend reversions on a long in this one. I'm not looking for a support level on this stock. I'm looking for a big flush down and then a trend reversal, or I'm not going long on Intel at all.
All right. Yeah, very, very similar thoughts that I'm having right now of just kind of, I know you're just in a couple new positions, but good talks on like where you think you're going long, trying to get on long into strong stocks. You know, we did buy that Tesla dip. It is $6. It's $5. Sorry, we almost got that level there at 268 again. So that's where we're waiting. 268 on Tesla. We're long at 262 off that dip. So we got out of the short early. That was a huge mistake because it went down $14 or $16 from there, but 268 and change looking decent right now for Tesla. Maybe we can get that short. We're going to start a position on AMD 97.50 and we're out of AMD short. Let's go over to Adara.
What we're going to do here is take a look at the DXY, which is continuing to kind of push into and try to break the support level. It's still a level of support we've seen a couple times here going back to April 2024 as previous resistance. Basically, since, of course, January, we've had these lower highs, lower lows, attempted to break out of that at the end of last week. But this week so far, slamming back into the downside. So let's see if we're able to ever break the support around 106, because as of right now, we've held on to it quite well. It's a really light day for economic data in that we don't have any numbers. Feds Williams, though, is going to be speaking later today. That's going to be starting at 2:20 p.m. And of course, at 9 p.m. Eastern, Donald Trump will be talking tariffs. So we're excited to get our tariff announcement for once and for all. It's been a long time coming, though he basically already said what he's going to be doing yesterday during the TSM conference. He said they're going to do about 25% tariffs for Canada and for Mexico, and then also increasing tariffs in China. For economic data for the rest of the week, we have some ISM PMI data services. Then Thursday, we'll get a couple numbers as well, jobless claims and trade balance, which could be interesting with tariffs. But the biggest number by far coming through on Friday, non-farm payroll. So stay tuned for that. Also, I think it's pretty interesting here. We know yesterday, 92% of participants were pricing in no rate cut. Now the numbers actually decreased. So we have more participants expecting we might get a cut in March. Still not a huge number, but May really gets interesting. Almost half of participants expect some kind of cut in May. So either a 25 basis point cut, or even some participants think we might get a 50 basis point cut. So May rate cuts really increasing here, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, the Bank of Canada is going to cut for sure because, I just heard Sharif say the Bank of Canada is going to cut. I agree. The Bank of Canada is going to cut. We have to. down here. Different situation because everyone's getting screwed with mortgage rates, especially with this tariff battle going on. So we broke out that high on AMD and right back underneath VWAP. If I get wicked out, the level I like is a level I'll trade. So we'll basically play this right back into the same prior high. It basically wicked it by 4 pennies. So that's, to me, not a big breakout above VWAP as far as I'm concerned. Apple's still holding the bid a little bit here. Intel's still holding the low, but the overall market, it's still weak, guys. Like, it's just, this is a NASDAQ. I know the ES, the interesting thing is ES isn't as bad, but you just came right back up into the pre-market lows, and the pre-market low just held as resistance. So that, to me, is weakness in the overall market still holding up. So Intel not really giving you much of anything, but if I get wicked out of a short and it's still showing me the level, then I'm going to jump right back in and give it to that prior high. 96 has been support there, so I don't mind getting out of the stock at that particular price. Still looking for some more short opportunities there. Nothing's really at VWAP outside of AMD. Nvidia, actually check that. That's not true. Nvidia is breaking trend and might be an underneath VWAP short as well. So that's actually looking pretty weak itself. Apple holding the top end of the range is about the only long that I'm kind of liking. Like, it's holding the top end, hasn't broken those prior bar lows, still no breakout of the top. This takes out the top. We'll look for some places to add to Apple. Everything else looks weak, man. I don't know.
Yeah, so before we left you, we talked about we were going short AMD. So right now we're in 20 cents. We just took 30 cents down here at 90. So I know Neil got stopped, but we had a little bit of a different level. So we'll just wait to see if that can play out now as the futures are at that. Okay. Let's go, man. There it is. Let's go, AMD. Okay, a nice little name here. Now 40 cents in the money on AMD as we come back in. We're bidding 80s to get out of a little bit more. If we could do that, man, put 40 cents in our pocket here on advanced micro devices, we will do that as we're holding on to it. And by the way, we did get that Tesla fill right there at 267.50. So let's go, man, as we props up for that one as well. Again, take the tops, take the bottoms. That's what we're doing, man. And we're doing it pretty good here for you once again. Let's just wait to see if AMD does have a move even lower than this, man. I mean, the 50-period moving average is here at 60s. I'm bidding 80s right now to take that 40 cents just to see if we can take out a piece and then leave us with half. So we're already out of a 40%. We'll get another 10% here at 80 if we can. Actually, no, we're into more of that right now. Actually, I got to take a minute. Let me take another piece out right here at 80. Okay, I just got to an 88. I'm going to cancel my 80s and go a little bit lower now because I took that risk out. So now we'll put some at 76. See if we could get that. So here it goes, man. Nice 40-cent win right there. I mean, win. I don't know. It's a trade, right? So nice move there. $3 still on Nvidia as that's trying to bounce again. TQs. Nice move to the downside on the TQQs. Back through 67 now. That was where our last out was again. So, all right. Let's see if Nvidia does kind of puke a little bit lower right now. I bet 82,000 right now for crypto. Wow, there goes AMD, man. AMD now 50 cents in and starting to go lower and lower right now. But yeah, IBIT still underneath VWAP, so that would have been a great short there, 47.50 and change for that. All right, here we go, man. Big trade alert here. 96.50 is the 200-period moving average. Can we take 70 cents on this AMD? Like, we sniped a couple levels here, man. This AMD one is, oh yes, here we go. Nice move down there in for AMD, so that's falling apart all over itself right there. And then we did snipe a nice little level on Tesla too. We got sniped up there, that's for sure. But then there, back in, nice move. Multiple opportunities there throughout the day to trade these names. AMD really falling back in, 96.60 into the 50s. Let's just see how low we can go for AMD. I'm bidding 56s right now. So one more push down. 55. Oh, did it? Okay, so here we go. 56s now? No, we still did not get that fill, but we're there. So hopefully we do get it down there on AMD, and maybe we'll just in case we don't, because I'll be upset, let's punch some out there at 67 and see what happens now. But AMD, great little play there to this level. So in the money here, let's just see what winds up happening. Nvidia, $3 short. TQs, 300 handles. AMD, 50 cents. Tesla, $3. So in total right now, we're about 369. Yeah, about $9 overall here. Waiting for the futures, but these positions are light. The biggest one for me is AMD.
Oh wow. So I see you guys in the chat. We'll get to some other stuff in a second. I did get the fill in front of that 50 on AMD. Underneath VWAP, we're looking for 96. Next, Apple just bounced back to our entry, so maybe a couple of pennies in the money there. But there are some other names moving around. With only 3 minutes to go till we throw you guys to the midday. You don't do anything. All you gotta do is sit here, and the stream's gonna roll over to the midday. And I know Sharif, there's a high probability Sharif is looking at ML. I don't want to say I know for sure, but MLGO. I know it's a rocket ship. It's trend up like this. There's plenty of names. There's always something you can be trading to the long side. Just remember, this stock is a habitual line stepper. When you see a stock that looks like this on the daily chart, no one ever went broke taking profits. So have an execution plan and don't get yourself rinsed. When this goes up for a few days, it tends to be really nasty to the downside on MLGO. So yes, it looks absolutely fantastic right now. There's a ton of resistance, at least recently at the $5 level. It's about 50 cents away. I might pay for locates on this, because if it gets to $5, it might just be worth a bit of a reversion short on MLGO, assuming that we actually don't have it free, which that is the correct assumption. We don't have free locates on this. So I'm probably going to pay for locates just in case it gets up to the 5 level, because the last time it reverted that went from top to bottom here. What is that? Yeah, like $1.40, a 25% retracement the last time it did it, and you can see the sellers that have been winning at that price. So MLGO, great look for the long trade, but that's where you've had to go for longs, is in small cap land. That's the kind of day it is. I don't want to give up. I know it's 10:58. I don't want to give up the idea that we can get another short in Intel, but it might get to 10% down before there's any actual bounce. And I said I'm not shorting any low of the days here. So 10% down is going to be approximately $20.5, maybe a little bit lower than that. I'll look for a mean reversion just like we did here. So if it happens during the midday, then you'll probably see me again long in Intel looking for that kind of a bounce. But it's been a nasty short. 10% down on Intel after it just had positive news the other day. Not a good look. Bleeding 2 days in a row. You don't want to have that happen off a good headline. Charlie Taff, SMR, that's right. SMR reported, and SMR was relatively strong. That is another one. I haven't had any trades on it. What I was sort of saying about this is, if it can take out the earnings top, it's a bit of a squeeze potential play. But it's not taking out the top, and it's still inside the range in the aftermarket. This didn't move in the aftermarket show when I thought it was going to be explosive on earnings. So until it moves out of this range, I don't want to trade it on SMR. But I love the fact that it would be a breakout higher because I own the stock in the long term.
Yep, love SMR down here, as well as some Big Bear AI. Okay, so just real quickly, we did get that 56 on AMD, so it is another one. Make sure you do stay hydrated. And so there it is again. I know Neil's short rate at this level. It is nice retracement back up there. Lucky, I mean, we were bidding 56. It just came in, and that was basically the low. So that was a good one. What else are we working with? Tesla, Nvidia. I'm going, so just so you guys know, we are still bidding down here. I do want to look at 260 again. So I think that if it does come in, that's going to be a play for me down on that downside. Nvidia. No real play. I mean, if it gets back up to 115, we'll probably reshort that. We basically have nothing left on that one, and then one little piece left on the TQs there to get out as well. But it's 11 o'clock. Learn to trade is right here, right now. So get ready to learn to trade. Good day overall today, man. We're down into the 67 area. The futures are down 1.34% on the NASDAQ. I want to thank everybody. We had over 11,000 of you in the beginning, so thank you so much for all of that. And yeah, you know, join us back here at 2 o'clock. All right, have a good one. Hopefully our lunch is lunch here already. I don't even know. No. We have to do that segment again. We don't get we get it weekly, I think. So I'll have to check that out. But okay, that's it for us. I'm gonna go do a couple laps, and we'll be back at 2 p.m. So for now, join Sharif, join Joseph, and we will start talking all about midday madness with the boys. See you then.
We'll get them.